Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And it's time for the Summer of Love and Live.
It is time! Round 3, baby!
Live, laugh, love, live. Love Live loves us because it came out with a new show right when we started this podcast, so we could talk about it in 2022 still.
Yep, it's the show that keeps on giving, literally, because they just keep coming out with more Love and Lives, and what must we do other than record them?
Yes, and nothing better to talk about school during the summer.
Yep, welcome to summer vacation. We're here to remind you that school exists.
But so do idols.
But you know what, Sarah? We've both graduated. We're done with school.
Yep,
we're here to talk about some idols.
Yeah, but if this was Udapri, then we would still be in school even after we were done with school, because that's what happens in Udapri.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. You go next door to the not school.
That looks exactly the same as school.
That looks exactly the same as school.
So for any of you who this is your first episode of iDOL Days or your first Love Live episode of iDOL Days,
these are the ones where we get fucking insane.
The summer heat gets to us just a little bit.
Like a little bit. Our first time talking about Love Live, we just went off on crabs for 20 minutes.
We found out that the Idol Illuminati is watching us.
Yeah, it's Love Live. You can blame original Love Live for the Idol Illuminati existing at all, because we came up with it back then, and it continues now. It doth continues.
It doth continue, and then last year we did get into the fact that they were all raptured.
Yeah, that was weird. Have you heard the word about Muse and they got their holy rapturing?
Have you heard the good Muse?
Oh, I'm gonna drop you from the Discord call, and the rest of this episode is just gonna be me sitting in silence, talking, thinking about idols, and that'll be really good audio content for our fucking podcast.
And great for the Summer of Love Live.
Yee. And I cannot stress this enough. Ha.
So, for Love Live Summer, there are actually 2 new Love Live series that have kind of come out since we started the podcast. One is Nijigasaki, and one is Superstar.
So yeah, we're starting with Nijigasaki, because Nijigasaki just got their 2nd season. So Sarah, I'm curious, because I know a little bit about where this anime came from, but I'm curious, how much do you know about this 3rd arc of the Love and the Lives?
So I vaguely know, weren't they the trash girls from the mobile game?
Sarah!
How you feed the real idols your nuns? They're like the nuns.
The nuns?
There's a nun in Love Live, and you feed the idols, the nuns.
Yeah, I guess, but these not all of them are nuns. It's just the one, Sarah.
Well, that was the meme back in my day.
Hey, it was my day too. But no, I remember this game is this season of Love Live is very heavily tied in with the Love Live mobile game that came out many, many years ago. I remember very specifically the Love Live mobile game came out for English right after I finished college, so spring of 2014, because I remember sitting on my couch and playing it when I should have been filling out job applications.
Hey.
Anyway.
But now you work for yourself. Hey.
And now I work for myself, and I have a podcast talking about these idols. So yeah, like you said, I'm not going to use your vocabulary because it's very rude. But yeah, so when you play the Love Live mobile game, you have... It started with just Muse because the mobile game came out before Aquos was a thing. I keep saying Aquas. It's Aqua. But there's an S at the end. And you say it Aquas, and now it's leaching into my brain like some sort of radiation poisoning. How could you? But anyway, so when the Love Live mobile game first came out, you had all 9 of the original Muse girls, and those were the main objects of your gacha acquisitions. You wanted the Love Live girls really badly, but because they were just, I don't know, they needed some carbohydrates to fill up this roster, they made up a bunch of just So in Love Live, I believe the rankings start at N for normal, and then it goes R for rare, SR for super rare, and then they have UR for ultra rare. And I think they went back and like copped Idolmaster and started doing SSRs as well, which is like between SR and UR. And I'm like, just stick with one thing, Love Live. But anyway, so you wouldn't get Muse Girls until you hit the R rank, which was like the slightly higher level cards. But all the N cards, the normal cards, were just fucking randoms. Original Love Live Do Not Steal type characters. From what I remember, like none of them had voices. They were just kind of like random characters. I think they had like a little bit of lore behind them, but not much.
One of them was a nun.
One of them was a nun. Sir, not appearing in this film.
I think she might be a side character. She's just not wearing her nun habit.
Maybe. I can't tell you the nun lore. I'm sorry, Sarah. But yeah, so a handful of the N girls ended up getting featured. I quit playing the mobile game before the Nijigasaki, like, they started really promoting it, so I'm not super, like, in-depth on all the lore. Next episode, we will be more in-depth on all the lore, because I should have researched that, and instead I spent my podcast prep time procrastinating, and then had to watch the show, like, the day before we recorded.
Hey!
Hey, I was taking notes on the last few episodes this morning!
Hey!
Anyway... so I know Shizuku, and I think Emma, and maybe one more of the girls were, like, originals from the mobile game. And then they just made some other randoms to, like, fill out the rest of their cast of 9, because you can't just use the ones you've already made, because they're designed to be boring.
Or they're, like, one-trick gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like none.
Like none. Or, gosh, can I even remember the rest? There were, like, a handful of, like, random Love Live girls that I actually really liked the designs of. It has been almost, like, 8 years since I played the Love Live game, so I cannot tell you whomst.
And I'm sure there are more even now, so.
Oh, probably. You know what? Just for funsies, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, give us these normal girls.
Give us these normal-ass girls. Oh, when I typed in Love Live N girls into Google, the first one it came up with Jennifer.
Ooh, that's very normal.
Top idol Jennifer.
That's a very normal name.
Jennifer. Okay, oh god, this is a whole fucking website. I just need to...
You just want to know about Jennifer.
I just want to know about Jennifer. Okay, so here's, like, yeah, the Nijigasaki girls.
Oh, I'm looking at pictures, too. There's, like, the Cut My Bangs Too Short Chan. I remember her.
Cut My Bangs Too Short Chan. Nice.
Yes, I remember her. I'm looking at the pictures.
Yeah, so Jennifer is very obviously American, probably. She's, like, blonde. She has pigtails.
Yeah, I'm looking. There's flute. There's
personality trait, flute.
Has a katana.
Oh, there's Gun Girl.
Gun Girl,
Gun Girl
right?
Online.
Gun Girl Online. We do appreciate. There's Beyblade hair.
Beyblade hair? Who?
Beyblade hair.
Beyblade hair. Which one? Send me that one. Send me Beyblades. Let it rip, Sarah.
Let it rip.
Oh, Beyblade hair.
Beyblade hair. Yeah.
Beyblade hair.
There was all sorts of girls back then.
And then Christina, the nun.
Yes, the nun is very important.
Nun Girl Online. I remember her, but I also remember that there's a better nun in Cinderella Girls, the Idolmaster mobile game, and I like her because she's cute and I like her.
Nun fight.
Oh, there's like Mad Scientist Chan.
Mm-hmm.
She's got, like, pigtails and glasses, and she looks like Dexter's Lab, but anime. There's just a lot of just random designs on here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there's a lot of the N girls. So, the company that makes Love Live was just like, hey, what if these randos had lore? And then they made an anime about it.
Which, I mean, that's a good way to, like, expand your universe without having to expand it more than you already have, I guess.
I mean, but they did, because they didn't even take characters like Beyblade, Hair,
That's
and
true.
Nun and make them the main characters. I think it's just the 2.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think so.
like, 2 of the 9 main characters are the ones who, like, came from the N-Girl roster, and then the rest are just, fuck you, I guess.
Yeah,
right,
I think
here's some new ones.
one of them is, like, the sister is a normal character, but not very much.
Kanata's sister is, because I remember her from the game. I recognized her when she popped up, and I was like, oh, hey. Like, there's a couple of the, like, regular, not original N-girls. Oh, no, I guess Kanata's here, because here she is. I see her N card. Her face looks very different.
Yes, they definitely upgraded a lot of the designs.
Yeah, no, I would not be able to tell you that this was Kanata if I was just looking at her. She looks very different. She is now one of the main characters in Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club project, thanks to her placing 3rd in a popularity poll. Yeah, okay, so it's 3. I couldn't remember who the 3rd was, but it's Kanata, Emma, and Shizuku.
There you go.
That's the 3. So then 6 of them were created just for this anime.
Yes.
And yeah, like some of the the other girls who are not main characters do get featured, especially towards like the end of the season. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them as like background cameos in season 2, because hey, there's a season 2 out now.
There is a season 2.
But yeah, so this was my first time watching this show, and Sarah, I assume it's yours as well.
It was. Well, to be fully transparent, I did start it when it first started airing, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna have to watch this again later anyway, so I only saw the first 2 episodes.
Watch it again for the podcast, like 2 years later.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do we want to get into the girls?
Let's get into the girls.
The girlies.
So, one thing about Nijigasaki that is very fun to me.
What are you about to say?
Is that they were like, they took the Love Live concept and they're like, what if we just made it a little bit like Idolmaster? Kind of. Because we now have a self-insert main character, a producer, even, if you will. And she will be our first girl.
And we're going to name her You, because that won't be confusing at all for your English-speaking podcasters.
Her name's not Sarah, it's You.
It's You.
No, it's You.
Sarah, You is the producer character.
But she's our self-insert. She's our producer. And just like an Idolmaster, all the girls are like, hey, we exist around you.
Listen, Love Live already got grief when they added like SSRs in their mobile game, like the Love Live games, and so like I think Love Live is just like, how can we monopolize the idol industry? The anime idolus.
And then it's also like an Udapri where all the girls are like in love with her for no reason.
Yeah, like, it's very heavily, like, Ayumu and Setsuna, I would argue, are the main two, because, like, the rest of them are just kind of floating around doing their own thing. But yeah, no, definitely a weird love triangle sort of thing happening there.
But Yu is our producer / self-insert. She has, like, twin tails, but they're not, like, bouncy twin tails. They're just, like, normal droopy twin tails. But
Skinny tails.
They're black, and they gradient to green on the tips, like they got dipped in paint.
Yep. Dip dye. Which was an interesting design choice, but I'm not complaining.
Yes. It's so she doesn't look like Nico.
Yeah. I mean, like, her ponytails are, like, thinner than Nico's were, but...
Yes, because she's not an idol. Because, spoilers, she doesn't ever become an idol. She's just our producer.
Nope. Well, I mean, yeah, it would be... I don't know where that train of thought was going anyway.
Idolroos! And her overall personality is the self-insert.
Yeah, I mean, she has more personality than I would say Haruka from Udapri has.
That's
like,
fair,
she actually has a little bit more personality. But her main personality trait is I love school idolroos, basically. Yes. Yes. She saw one school idol performance and then was like, oh my god, I'm dedicating my life to this franchise. I mean, club!
Star, do you want to introduce our next character?
Yeah, sure. So arguably our main character is kind of an oddball for a Love Live protagonist, is Ayumu. And she's not the Genki ginger leader that we have grown accustomed to in Love and Live. So she has kind of like strawberry red hair. It's kind of like a shoulder-length bob, and she's got like a little side bun. Because we have to have the side ponytails at all times. At least one. It has to have one.
Yep.
And I think she is cute. She is definitely the physical personality embodiment of normal girl.
She is so normal.
She's just so normal. You ask what her character is, what her personality is like, and okay, I have a little graphic up here that's just like, I think they're official character introductions, and it says, a hard-working type who puts in lots of effort. She became a school idol because of her childhood friend invited her to. I love you is at the end, and I didn't notice that until just now because I hadn't read these. I was just using it to remember all of their names, and I'm like, all right.
There you go. That's her.
She doesn't really have, like, Genki main character energy. I would argue that Honoka got split cybernetically into two characters, and Ayumu is, like, the main character, good girl energy, and then another character, got the Genki. And we'll talk about her later.
Yes.
But yeah, Ayumu also got the Honoka codependency, and we will talk about that towards the end of the season.
Yes. The other weird thing about Nijigasaki is they don't have the color character traits. So it's a little hard to describe them by the blue one, because the blue ones aren't the blue ones. Yeah, no,
like, this cast is, like, so normal by comparison to, like, previous seasons. So yeah, I mean, they have image colors, but they're not terribly obvious about them. And so, like, you could, like, some of them are more obvious than others. Like, Ayumu's pretty pink, but her hair's not pink. Her eyes aren't pink, so we can't really call her the pink one. And, like, Setsuna's red, but it's not like she has red hair. That's Ayumu's thing. And
yes, and she doesn't have a red personality either.
And so you're just gonna have to stick with us and remember the names of these characters, because we can't describe them as the pink one, the green one, the tsundere one, etc.
So we mentioned it. Next character I'll introduce is the other kind of mainish character, who is Setsuna. She has, like, at least when she's in her idol form, we will discuss it when we discuss the episodes, she has, like, long black hair and, like, a little side ponytail thing.
She has the comb over.
Yes, she has the idol comb over from Love Live.
The Love Live idol comb over. But it's not fluffy like Kotori's is. It's just, she just decided she wanted to do a side part and then pulled the side part hair into a ponytail, like, on the other side of her head. Yep. And I'm like, that's a choice, I guess. Are you trying to cover a bald spot? Like, what?
And for reasons, first you think she's the serious one, but she's just like a dork.
Yeah, she's a very determined fucking nerd.
Yes.
She's like, I love idols, I want to be a good idol, I'm gonna push all the other girls to be good idols, but also, oh my god, anime.
Yeah.
She's a nerd. I didn't have any characters that are just like, boom, 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 that one's my favorite, but I like Setsuna. She's good.
Cool.
I also really like her aesthetic, like, for her music videos, because she's very rock and roll pyrotechnics, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I relate very strongly to her and one other character in this show. I'm not sure if I would consider them, like, I'm gonna buy all the merch of you, my favorites, like Makoto Idolmaster. But of the 9, she's probably my favorite.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Star, want to say another character for us?
Sure, I'm about to piss off a lot of people.
Listening.
Because Sarah, I have a feeling that you will join me in this. So I think the next main character that we can really talk about, or that we should talk about, is probably Kasumi.
Kasumi? Do you mean Miku from Cinderella Girls?
Did you mean Nico, but just slightly less, like...
No. But Star, I know you say Nico, but she looks exactly like Miku from Cinderella Girls.
You know, I hadn't put it together until you pointed
she has
it
the
out.
She looks exactly the same, and she acts exactly the same.
Like, her hair is more of a light brown. She looks like if Yukiko Idolmaster and Miku Idolmaster had a weird baby who was just really, really obnoxious. Okay. So Sarah, the only thing I could think of when Kasumi got introduced, and then every single time she showed up on screen thereafter, was that scene in the first episode of Ouran High School Host Club where Haruhi is the main character and she's trying to figure out like how to describe Tamaki, and she's just like thinking and he's just like going off in the corner about some unimportant bullshit, and he's just like, look, I'm gonna teach you how to be a host, it's gonna be incredible, la-di-da-di-da. And she's like, how would I describe this person? And she's just like going off in her head for a little bit, and then she's like, oh, you're obnoxious. And that's what I thought of every time Kasumi showed up on screen, because she's so fucking annoying. I'm sorry.
She is the same. And in my opinion, I saw her and I'm like, oh, that's just Miku from Asterisk Cinderella Girls. It's the same person. Like, it's the same picture.
Her whole personality is she really wants to be the cute one, and she pushes it so hard. She's just like, I'm the cute one. Kasumi's the cutest. I'm the cute one. Call me cute, damn it. And it's played for laughs. I was not laughing.
You're like, please move out of the way so I can see the other ones. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, please get out. Please scoot over. But yeah, like, if we're sticking with Love Life, she's very Nico if she didn't try to, like, actively put down other members of the group. Yes. So, like, she's slightly more favorable.
She at least is not in the angry text chain and a troll online. She's not that.
Yeah, no, she's not that, thankfully. But she's you know what? I'm gonna say, like, kind of this, I'm sorry, y'all, like, this, so she's just a watered-down Nico. Like, a lot of characters in this cast are watered-down versions of previous Love Lives. I'm sorry!
Yeah.
I'll just say it up front. Like, this show is more slice of lifey than other Love Lives have been, and as we've discussed, pure slice of life is not really my cup of tea. So that's just my opinion that you do not have to agree with. But in my personal opinion, I feel like this is probably the weakest Love Live that we've watched.
I would agree, though. In some ways, I guess, kind of like I mentioned, it did it reminded me a lot more of like Cinderella Girls than it reminded me of a Love Live.
Yeah, just because like it's about all the girls and they're individuals. They're not really in like they never perform together except in like the last episode and the opening, I guess. But yeah, it's just like it felt more like a character study. Of just like, here's some more girls, let's just learn things about them, and there's no stakes.
Yes, it did.
There's no stakes. Sarah, overall, like, I know we're in the middle of doing our character intros, but I want to talk about this now because I wanted to ask you about this since we started watching the show. You are a more slice of life enjoying person, so I imagine this show is probably more your cup of tea.
So the thing about it, and I guess we talked about it a little bit with Kasumi, is I liked some episodes, but I definitely got really bored with other ones, and I think it really depended on how actually interested I was with the girl.
Yeah, that's definitely
it's kind of hit or miss with that.
Yeah, because like it's one of those shows where each girl has this episode where they're kind of the focus, which we haven't had one of those in a while, I feel like.
No, because it's usually like the most recent I can think of is kind of like Ensemble Stars-ish, but they were really more the groups.
Ensemble Stars was more about the groups than the individual characters, though. I think probably it was like an Udapri or maybe even an i7, but i7 is usually like less in your face about it.
And even then, both Udapri and i7 have group things, so.
Yeah, and so this one is just like, there were a couple episodes that were cute, but overall, this was one of those shows where I'm very happy. Crunchyroll just put out the dub for this anime. If they didn't have the dub, it would have been much harder to get through because I just put on the dub while I was working on art stuff.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm like, I mean, it's a show. It's a show. It's not bad. It's just not what I expected I didn't get into it as much as I hoped I would. There's still definitely some positives about this show, but yeah, overall, I think probably the weakest of the Love Lives. Mm-hmm. And I feel like what I've heard about the show and like the people who watch it is kind of a similar sentiment with a lot of people.
Let's continue the girls.
Next girl.
So next girl, I'll do Kasumi's girlfriend, Shizuku. She has brown hair and a big ponytail. She's in the drama club. We can get into her more in her episode, but like she's also very normal, I guess. Yeah, she's extremely normal for a theater kid.
Yeah, no, she has the same hairstyle as my VTuber.
The next up is Star's VTuber.
Star's VTuber, Star Carmine. Here to go. Let's go. I'm on streaming sabbatical for a little bit, but it's fine. But yeah, no, I like her visually. Mm-hmm. She's boring for a theater kid. Yeah, like you said. It's like I expected more theater from this character.
That's fair. Though, don't get me wrong, her episode is actually one I did like. Until her episode, I'm like, I don't get a good read on how I would describe you. But maybe that's the fair
point. Because the show doesn't tell you anything about her except she is in drama club until her episode.
Yes, it's true.
Anyway, I'm just going to go down the list of this graphic in no particular order. So next is what my other sort of favorite is Karine. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of the older, responsible one.
She's Azusa Idolmaster.
But she also gets lost. She's watered down Azusa Idolmaster because she loses all the Ada energy.
No, she does say RR though. So
but Azusa is more like, she's like, I'm not gonna do it because no. But she's just like, oh, I'm Azusa, and Karine's more serious. She's like the love child of Ritsuko and Azusa Idolmaster, and that is actually a decent ship.
Yeah, there we go. Sold.
I would say. Yeah, because like she's got the like kind of pragmatic, responsible one energy, but also she's like hot and a model, and she gets lost all the time.
Yep.
She never gets lost as extremely as Azusa Idolmaster, because again, she is watered down Azusa Idolmaster.
Our next character, I will say, is...
Well, no, wait, I'd never described how she looked. So she's got like kind of dark navy hair that kind of like gets thinner towards her neck and then kind of like hangs over her shoulders a little bit. She's got like straight across bangs. She got the big titties. She's a model, she's like a model.
She has like 3 dots on her collarbone, and I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, if I was really into Karine, that would be a really cool tattoo, but I'm not.
I'm not. No. It's like, well, hypothetically, but no.
I mean, I like her. I'm just, same as you, Star, where none of them were my Love Live Hanamaru.
Yeah, and so her other thing is, like, I like her because she has a deep voice.
She does have a deep voice.
Yeah, I like her. I like it when she sings because she's got the deeper voice. It's not as deep as I would have expected from, like, a big fave, but it's noticeable. Like, she doesn't have the cute anime girl voice, woo.
Next up is Karine's girlfriend, Emma. She has...
How are you going to describe her?
She has red hair with, like, 3 freckles on each cheek, like very specifically. And she is Heidi from the book Heidi. Like very deliberately, she's just Heidi.
A watered down Heidi?
Well, I guess an older Heidi who wants to be a school idol, because I don't think school idols were a thing when Heidi was written.
School Hidori.
I will say, Sarah's story, Little Sarah, Heidi was my favorite book growing up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I just loved that girl in the Swiss Alps living with goats. It's a great time.
Yeah. My biggest complaint about her is, like, we don't get much personality out of her. She's a saltine cracker with not a lot of salt. Her personality is she's a transfer student from Switzerland.
Yep.
And
she's Heidi.
Because she's Heidi, and that's about it. And even, like, her solo episode...
Yeah, it wasn't really
focused on Karine!
Yep.
Karine got 2. It's like, hey, Karine, how come the directors let you have 2 episodes? So yeah, Emma's she's there to pad out the space. She is a bowl of white rice. She doesn't add much.
Yeah.
She's just one more character in the background for the animators to draw. And that's about it. I'm sorry to all the Emma stans, but you cannot deny that they kind of shafted her in the character development portion. All right, so next I'm going to talk about who is probably my third favorite, just because I like her vibe. I like Ai. She's good. She's like very much she's the
sporty girl.
She's the sporty girl, but she's also like the. I love that every time we say that now we have to say it like it's
sporty girl.
Sporty girl. You got to say it like that. That is the correct way to say it. Like if you look up just all one word sporty girl in the dictionary, you have to say it in bold italics.
There's a point in her episode, this is how sporty of a girl she is. She like monologues to herself and the subtitles just said, "I have to get my head in the game." And I'm like, yeah.
What? I didn't notice that. Oh my god. Fucking Ai. But yeah, so she's...
Oh, no, she said... Never mind, I'm wrong. She says, "We're all in this together." That's what she says. Which is still...
Which is still High School Musical.
Still High School Musical.
Oh, you took a screen cap. Thank you for sharing this with me.
I took a picture
yep,
with my phone.
There it is. There it is. Wow, incredible.
Sporty girl.
Sporty girl. But yeah, so she's like blonde. She has a ponytail, which we know that Star likes ponytail character. She's the orange one. She's the half of Honoka that became the orange Genki one. I like her vibe.
She also likes puns a lot. That's the other thing. Is she likes the dad jokes.
She makes a lot of puns, and she's a good girl. She's kind of like... I'm not sure if you could describe her as Gyaru, but she kind of has like the fashionable vibe to me. I don't know if she's officially that, but that's the vibe that I get off of her.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah, you go.
Next up is Rina. She is one of the girls that actually looks like a main character in an iDOL anime because her hair is pink.
It's pink hair, and it's like blunt cut, like she did it herself.
Yes, blunt cut and flippy. And she is notably has trouble expressing herself. I'm not on the spectrum, so it's hard to describe it, but I know a lot of people who are really identify with her just from the idea of like the disconnect between facial expressions and how to express yourself. So I think it's
definitely.
Cool.
I was definitely like, people are going to have autistic headcanons about this character specifically for this reason. I was thinking that the entire time.
Yeah, because I know a few people who are on the autistic spectrum and they hardcore relate to her. So nothing official, but if you are and you want someone to relate to, you might find it in Rina. She's pretty cool.
She's honestly like, I enjoy her a lot.
I enjoy her a lot. Episode. She's probably my favorite, I think, of this group.
Also, I think that if you're not familiar with this anime, she's arguably the most recognizable character, because she's the one who always has, like, either a sketchbook or, like, a little CG, like, screen in front of her face to do her little facial expressions.
Yes. She's also short, and she is best friends with Ai. They're both besties.
Yeah, Ai is the extrovert who adopted Rina as her resident introvert, and I'm just like, this is me and Sarah kind of.
That's how I adopted Star.
Yeah, Sarah's my adoptive extrovert.
Extrovert parent, yep.
Yeah, the extrovert parent, yeah, and so I'm like the introvert who just followed her around in college.
Hey.
So these two are us, but the heights are swapped.
The heights are reversed.
But yeah, so Rina's a good girl, and I think her episode is probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. And her music's really good, too. I like it.
Yeah,
so.
no, I love her song. We'll get into it when we get there, but yeah.
Yes.
And so then the last character is Kanata. She is not the sporty girl. She's the sleepy girl.
Sleepy girl.
And I thought she was just... So I would say that Kanata is probably the one exception to the watered-down watered-down Love Live or Idolmaster character. I would say that she's Miki from Idolmaster, but is sleepy for an actual goddamn reason.
Same. I was like, it's like Anzu, but then we got to her episode, I'm like, oh, she's not like Anzu.
She's not like Anzu. And we'll get to why there's a reason that she is sleepy that's not just lazy. And, like, bless this bean. Protect this bean. She's a good girl.
Yeah,
She's got,
I feel like She and Rena are probably my favorites.
Yeah, they're the good girls.
They're good girls.
But yeah, so she's got like long, wavy, kind of like orangey brown hair. She's sleepy, and when when she's in her performance outfits, she kind of curls a section of her bangs in a weird way that kind of looks like little bear ears, which I think is both weird but also kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's like, you would never style your hair like that in real life, but then again, when do we turn? We do not turn to Love Live for realistic hairstyles. I say,
please don't.
Looking at Setsuna for, like, comb-over ponytail hairstyles.
Oh god, no.
Yeah. So that's the cast. We'll run through them one more time just real quick, because we did just spend 30 minutes talking about them.
Yes. With an interruption in the middle on top of all that.
Yeah, no, this is not going to be the most on topic of podcast episodes, because I've got a lot of thoughts, and I'm sure Sarah does too. So we have Ayumu, red hair, half of Honoka, just normal good girl. Normal.
Then we have Setsuna. Weird comb-over bangs into a side ponytail, black hair, secret nerd.
Yeah, she looks like a blue one, but she's not a blue one.
She does not act like a blue one.
No, not at all. Then there's Kasumi. Obnoxious, looks like Miku from Idolmaster and Yukiho from Idolmaster had a child, and that child is obnoxious as hell.
Next up is Shizuku, theater girl, ponytail, not a good read on her at the beginning.
My VTuber, yes. Then we have Corinne, dark blue hair, sexy high schooler. She's like kind of the serious one, but she's not that. She's more of the blue one, I would argue. But the blue one is usually the counterpart to the red one, and Corinne and Ayumu don't really talk that much.
Next up is Emma. She has red hair and twin braids. Is Heidi from the book Heidi. From Switzerland, yes. Yeah,
so then there's she's the cheerleader, she's got blonde hair and a ponytail, she's Genki.
Then there's Rena, who has trouble expressing herself and usually has the thing on top of her face, either a screen or a sketchbook, and pink hair. And then Kanata is like kind of orange-brown, long, kind of like very wavy, messy hair, she just sleepy. And last of all is Yu, who is our self-insert. She's producer Idolmaster, basically, is who she is. And she has black ponytails with green tips.
Yes. All right, let's get into the show! Finally, it's been like 40 minutes.
Well, we did our opening rant, which is a necessary part of any Love Live episode.
It's true! We gotta talk about these love and lives. How am I supposed to live, laugh, love live in these conditions?
Live, laugh, love, and live.
Let's go!
Well, one reason why you can live, laugh, love live is we open it up. We have Yu and Ayumu, and turns out that their school is basically like most of Odaiba.
Yeah, no, it's totally weird. It's just like, so Odaiba's like a man-made island in Tokyo, and it's just kind of like it's almost like just a weird theme park, sort of. Like, there's a big Ferris wheel. I've been on it twice. There's like a couple of concert venues. That's where the big Gundam is that did make a cameo in this anime, and I was so excited
about it. Which means
like,
that Gundam exists in the Love Live universe, but it was an alternative Gundam. It didn't look like an actual Gundam. It was like a faux Gundam. So Love Live is an alternate timeline to our own. I don't know how it fits in, but just something to think of.
This would be a question to ask someone who actually knows anything about Gundam, aside from Big Zam.
Also, the entrance to their school is like the
Tokyo looks like
Big Sight.
Yeah, no, it looks like Comiket.
It's Comiket. They're comic idols.
Like, it's not, but it's Comiket's venue, but let me copy your homework, sure, but change a few things so it's not as obvious.
It's Comiket, but with like a little bit of an extra space for school to happen, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's like, how much does the tuition at this school cost? Because it looks like a fine art. Like, the building looks like a fine art building. It's so wackadoodle.
All the kids are using, like, tablets in their class instead of, like, paper and pencil. They're rich school.
They have, like, an entire huge building just for clubs. And I'm like, this club room is like 3 times larger than the actual high school I taught at. That was not a small high school. It was like 5 stories. And this building they have just for clubs is huge. I'm like, everybody in this school must have very good cardio.
Yes, and there are only girls there because it's Love Live.
Because, Sarah, don't you know, if any of the Love Live girls interact with a man, they will get canceled.
hold on, Star. I'm having a big brain thought. Do you think that Love Live, the alternative Gundam, is because they exist in a world where there's no men?
Oh no! What if it's like a Y the Last Man scenario and there were men and then they just all died so that the idols could take over?
And I don't know, a butterfly flaps its wings and now the Gundam is gray. You know?
Butterfly flaps its wings, all men are dead, and also the Gundam's different.
The Gundam's different, also there's idol girls now.
Yeah, idol girls will rule the world, and also their school.
Everything makes sense now. So this tracks, actually.
So totally random, but I want to take a segue because I'm not sure when the best time to say it would be elsewhere in the episode. So I feel like this anime, spoiler alert. The concept of this anime is it's the one Love Live anime where they don't go to Love Live. They're just like, what if we didn't do the title of the show? And we were just all solo idols and we just did our own thing and we just had fun with it because none of us can agree on an aesthetic we want to go with. And I'm like, this feels like the most realistic depiction of how high schoolers would engage with idol stuff.
They're live, laugh, loving, and living, but they're not love-living.
Yeah, I have personal experience with this, and I feel like if Love Live was a real thing, this would be the most realistic anime portrayal.
See, here's the secret, is the title isn't Love Live Nijigasaki, it's just Love Live Nijigasaki, and they're just living in the moment, these girls.
They're just having a good time,
Because in the alternate universe where men don't exist, so Nico doesn't have little brothers, they don't go to Love Live.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
anyway.
We back to the episode.
We open up.
We are introduced to Yu, our self-insert producer character, and Ayumu, and you can see that they're besties. It's after school. They're hanging out. Their campus is in Odaiba, so they're just shopping around all the fancy places in Odaiba.
Yep, and so they're just like, you can tell that these girls just kind of the stereotype of the high school girl who doesn't do anything, and I wonder if she'll get something to do during the course of this anime, like in 5 minutes.
Maybe.
But yeah, so they're just kind of dicking around, hanging around Odaiba, and then they hear music, and they're like, what's that sound?
And they go to chase the sound down, and they
go to chase the song down. Chases the title of the song.
What?
Chases the title of the song.
What? They go to chase?
You didn't do that on purpose?
No!
I thought you did that on purpose!
And
the title of the song
definitely did.
It's a good jam. I like it.
It's a good jam.
No, she's so good.
She's like a little vest and a butt cape, and she has our first tiny hat.
Tiny hats! Tiny hats!
Tiny hats!
Let's fucking go! Anyway, yeah, so she's, like, just singing, belting her heart out, like, on the stairwell in front of the school, and there's a lot of people watching, and then suddenly there's pyrotechnics, because I guess the school has the budget for that.
And then there's Yu and Setsuna singing to each other in the dream space, because Love Live does that, too.
Yep. Okay, but yeah, so, like, and then Yu is just like, oh my god, she's amazing! She's part of the school idol club at school. Ayumu, let's go check it out!
Yeah. So they go to try to find the school idol club. There's some hijinks where they can't find it because their school's too heckin' big.
Too heckin' big.
They end up running into Ai and Rina, who help them, so it's like a little cameo before you meet them.
Mm-hmm. It's like, these girls look like main characters. I wonder if they will become idolers eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they eventually do find it, but then the student council president shows up, who looks a lot like Setsuna.
She also looks like Homura.
She also looks like baby Homura, yes, from Madoka. And she's like, well, I'm sorry to tell you that the school idol club has been disbanded. And then the other girls are like, oh no! And so we see, like, some snapshots of the other ex-members. Because, like, a handful of these girls were in the club previously, and then just the club kind of broke up because of reasons. We see them, like, just around school being sad that the club is gone. And I was actually kind of interested in this. I wish that the club breaking up had not been, like, the very first thing that happened, because I was kind of interested in the drama. I feel like that could have been interesting. But they don't linger on it too much. And I was like, aw.
Though, it's very specifically Kasumi, who is our Miku Cinderella girls, is like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to bring this club back. I'm going to be the cutest idol. So she's ready to go.
Very Nico, yes. But yeah, so, and then later on their way home, like, after this, Ayumu was just, so earlier on in the episode, Yu was like, I stayed up all night watching School Idol videos, and I love School Idols now, oh my god, and then she gets sad when she finds out the club disbanded, but then Ayumu later is just like, I have a secret, and it's that I also stayed up all night watching School Idol videos, and I want to be a School Idol, and I'm going to show you how much I want to be a School Idol by running up these random stairs and just turning it into a music video.
Yeah, and it's basically about her wanting to, like, chase her dreams, live her happy life. The thing that was cute is earlier in the episode, like, when they're shopping, they see, like, a dress, and Ayumu's like, oh, that's cute, but it's too cute for me, but then she wears it during her performance, so it's
like, she's like, I do like cute things, and I want to be an idol, it's very cute. Can we talk about the 3D?
Yeah, we can. It's a way higher frame rate than the rest of the show.
No, it is not! So, Sarah, I remember we talked about this in our last episode where I talked about Selection Project, where I was like, yeah, the 3D is really good, but it's kind of weird because the 3D is so much higher frame rate than the rest of the show. It looks weird whenever they have cut-ins that are 2D. It was to the point where, like, so most of the song and dance numbers are 3D, and there's a song and dance number at the end of most episodes of this season, which is nice. I liked that there were so many, because obviously each girl is a soloist, so we got to get song and dance numbers for all of them.
Yes.
The 3D actually looks good here, which, like, props to the Love Live, whichever company makes Love Live, because they finally figured out how to make 3D look good. I think part of it is just the overall art style of Nijigasaki is they kind of toned down a lot of the extra, like, shinies and gradients and stuff.
Yeah, I'll agree, because Sunshine was really sparkly, and this one was a lot more just, like, normal anime looking.
Yeah, I honestly liked the art style of this one a lot, just because, like, it didn't focus so much on, like, the sparkly gradients and the eyes and the hair, and I just felt like this feels like a show that it's I like this art style a lot more. But yeah, and so the 3D looks very convincingly like the 2D. Like, the hair moves in a satisfying way. The faces look good. The eyes don't look dead for the most part. But yeah, they occasionally still do, like, the cut-ins.
And then you're like, oh, this is a different art style.
Yeah, it's very jarring. To the point where, like, whenever they did the 2D cut-ins, I was like, just do it in 3D.
Just stay in 3D.
So
I felt the same way.
It's like it got to a point where the 3D looked so much better and more fluid than the 2D. I got kind of mad when they flipped back to the 2D. I'm like, this looks like crap by comparison. You're just doing yourself a disservice here, people.
It definitely felt like they were trying to, like, give the whole, like, we're not just doing a 3D live thing, but, like, you could have. You did. It was good enough. You could have.
It was good enough. Yeah, like, I didn't miss the 2D at this point. I was like, you could have done, like, the whole song in this number and I would have been okay with it. Because, like, yeah, the 3D does look really good. It's like, props to them. It took them, like, 2 previous animes, but they finally figured it out. Let's go. Also, just real quick, because this is going to be relevant for every single song and dance number, pretty much. So, the Love Live Sunshine girls could teleport. This is a canon that we have established on our podcast. The Nijigasaki girls, I don't think they can teleport, but they can make anywhere into a fully dressed stage simply by bursting into song, and that's canon.
It is. It's fair. I'm sold. It's very like Udapri, which... Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm doing this brain thing of how, like, maybe the split between, like, they're not existing, there's no boys in this world happened, like, maybe, like, Udapri caused a rift, do you think?
Oh, God. Udapri caused a rift in the space-time continuum?
It's possible.
Ah, I see.
Maybe that's what the war in Ensemble Stars was.
Oh, no! Sarah, you can't talk about drama of Ensemble Stars! Oh my god. We talked about that in the episode, didn't we? That, like, we haven't played the... Well, I guess you've played the Ensemble Stars game. I have now played the mobile game. Have you gotten to that point yet?
No, because this happened. It all takes place after the anime. Oh, so I'll never know what happens in the war.
You'll never know what happens in the iDOL war.
Which apparently what happened is the timeline split to an only male iDOL timeline and an only girl iDOL timeline.
Is this canonical or is this you fucking around?
It's canonical that the timeline split and there's only boys in Ensemble Stars, at least my Sarah canon, because whatever I say is canon is canon.
So you're fucking around then, got it.
We just have to figure out where the rejoining happens, because there's definitely men in AKB, and that's definitely in the future, but they're not idols.
The future is in the past.
Maybe you're right. The future's in the past. So we have to talk about.
I was just making a Gravity Falls reference.
AKB is about the reincarnations of past idols. So maybe the men and the women, the boy and girl timeline, they merge because of this reincarnation, because they're inhabiting the souls of the idols before them who may or may not have been the gender that they are right now. And that's how they rejoined into the present AKB. Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed. We're not far enough into the podcast for me to join you on this journey, but I'm happy that you are having fun.
It's hot.
It's hot. And I'm sipping on my water and listening to you go off on conspiracy theories, and I'm like, I will join you when we're not in episode 1 of the anime.
You're right. We're only in episode 1.
We're only in episode 1. We've been talking about this anime for a fucking hour. And we're on episode 1. We're going to talk about these girls
Enjoy your 12-hour Idol Days episode, everyone.
Oh, God, I hope not. I have to edit this one.
There physically wouldn't be time.
Physically would not be time for me to edit this. It's like the Zombieland saga all over again. Because our first peek behind the table, our first episode where we covered Zombieland saga was also the first time I wanted to do insert songs. That episode, between that and there being 3 people instead of 2, and we were all constantly talking over each other, that 2-hour episode took 12 hours to edit.
Yeah.
I still have war flashbacks to it occasionally. Episode 2!
Episode 2. So this one, it does start with a little bit of the flashback of the rift of the original Idol. I was going to say Idol Project. That's wrong. Idol Club.
The war.
The war of the war.
The war.
Where basically Setsuna is like lecturing all the other girls, being like, you're not showing enough passion to your fans. You have to be more passionate. And then Kasumi's like, I don't want to be passionate. I just want to be cute. And then they start fighting, basically.
And then the third girl's just like, I just want to be cool. And they're like, no, those are the Idolmaster mobile game factions. You're traitor.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Sarah. Love Life School Idol Festival, or Nijigasaki, is a realistic interpretation of the idol industry. Because there's a war.
There is a war.
I was taking pot shots at OnStars.
A very niche reference.
Very niche pot shots at other idol. Anyway. Now that we've set off a portion of our listeners, more talking about Love Life.
Anyway, we're back in the present now. The present for the girls.
Present day, present time.
And Kirine is trying to help out Emma. She was not one of the formal Idol Club members, but Emma was.
Yeah, and so Emma's just like, Mom, go talk to the student council with me. And she's like, okay.
And so they go to the student council and they go to confront the president, who is mean and looks like Homura, but also if Setsuna wore glasses,
Yeah, and didn't have a comb over.
Didn't have a comb over.
The comb over
Arguably
is what
a better
gives her
hairstyle.
The comb over is what gives her idol powers,
Oh,
Sarah.
I see.
When she combs it over, she traps the idol essence under the comb over, and it just bleeds into her brain, and that's how she becomes Idoru.
Oh, I see. This makes sense to me.
See, Homura becomes Madoka when she takes out the braids, and
Yes.
Setsuna becomes Idoru when she takes out the braids and traps the idol essence underneath her comb over. We did it. We did it.
Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati Maho Shoujo confirmed. Watch Madoka Magica. It's very good.
But basically Korean's like, hey, we need to talk to Setsuna, but we found out she's not on the school register at all. Would you know anything about this? President stares pointedly.
And the president's like, no.
And then they get distracted because Kasumi shows up, and because she is Miku from Cinderella Girl, she has an affinity to cats.
You're
and
right.
she throws a cat there.
Oh my god.
She
Wait,
throws
Sarah,
a cat at them.
You know what drives me crazy? The
Yes.
worst part of the show, we never see this cat again.
He shows up at the very end in like one frame.
It's like someone adopt this fucking cat.
This poor cat.
This poor fucking cat. Because the cat just like shows up as like a random plot device in like a handful of early episodes. And the idea is it just lives on campus, which means it's trapped on this island because
It's true.
die, but the only way to get off is the train lines. And it's just like, no one adopts this cat. Someone adopt this fucking cat, or I'm gonna be worried about the cat the whole time. I guess there's no like real street traffic to worry about.
That's true.
But jeez, someone take care of this poor cat.
And then we get the OP for the first time after that
Yeah.
little scene.
It's pretty cute. I didn't really have too much to say about it. It's pretty standard Love Live idol.
So it's, like we said, there's not a lot of times where you actually hear the girls singing together, and you do in the OP. So it's one of the few times in the anime you hear them singing together.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the outfits they wear either. They're just a little simple, but they're not bad. They're just a little simple.
Yeah, they don't stand out very much.
They're cute.
So after the OP, we are back where we left off. Basically, Kasumi used the cat distraction as a plot device so she can sneak in and grab the plaque for the door for the idol club. So like trying to take their room back.
But then they go back to the room and it's already been replaced by something else.
Yeah,
And
so
like,
she's all
"Damn it."
upset.
And so she's like being grumpy just on a park bench somewhere, and then she overhears you and Ayumu walking past and talking about school idols, and she's like, oh my god, hey, are you guys interested in being school idolers? Well, I'll have you know that I'm the president of the now defunct school idol club, and you should totally join and be school idols with me. Wink, 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 wink.
And then Ayumu's like, yeah, I want to be an idol. And Yu's like, I don't want to be an idol, but I'll help Ayumu, I guess.
And Kasumi's just like, well, you shouldn't just help Ayumu, you should also help me because I'm the cutest. And I'm like, you're obnoxious as hell, go away.
So Yu ends up getting assigned as like the club manager. So she's our producer. But Kasumi's like, okay, well, as our first act of school idol club activities, first they go around trying to figure out a place to like do work stuff. They end up in a park, and then Kasumi's like, and now film me.
Yeah, record me doing my little self-introduction. I'm going to stick this on YouTube later. And now, Ayumu, you do one too. Just do what I do, being the exact same brand of cute that I was doing. And Ayumu's like, I'm not comfortable with this. She gets embarrassed real easily.
Yeah.
So later on, Kasumi gives the girls the tea about why the school idol group broke up. And she was like, yeah, it was because Setsuna was too hard on the other girls for not communicating with the audience and not having enough passion. But then she realizes, oh, wait, I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing to Ayumu now.
I have become the monster.
I have become the monster. Fuck.
So the next day, she's kind of all, like, freaked out because she's like, I definitely scared, like, the Kohais away. Like, they'll never want to join the idol club anymore at this rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we see Ayumu trying to, like, practice doing the cute shtick by herself, but she gets embarrassed when, like, Corinne just pops up and sees her, and Corinne's like, this doesn't seem like your brand. You seem too normal to do this whole cutesy thing. You should just do... Like, you should try and speak from your heart instead of doing whatever the hell it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And so, meanwhile, you and Kasumi are talking, and Kasumi's, like, basically like, I am my monster now. I'm just being as hard as Setsuna was, and I really should have just listened to her, because all she wanted was to make us better.
Yeah, and then Ayumu pops up for them. He's like, hey, I'm ready to film my self-introduction now. And Kasumi's like, oh okay. And so, you go.
And it's normal.
It's so normal!
It's just normal.
Normal girl! It's like that SpongeBob... Have you seen that SpongeBob episode where he's like, I'm normal.
I am normal.
I am normal. I am Ayumu, the normal idol. I want to be an idol because I like cute things, and I'm here to be an idol, and I am a normal idol. I'm a normal idol. But yeah, so she films it, and it's very bland and just kind of normal, but Kasumi's like, you know what? It suits you perfectly. Yep. And then Yu says, well, you know, there should be a way for everyone in the club to be able to perform the way they want. And Kasumi's like, you're right. I'm going to burst into song now.
And she does.
And she does. So now we have our third insert song, which is Kasumi's, which I kind of like this song. It's very bouncy. It almost feels a little bit like jazz.
Yeah, I agree. I think whenever Love Live does a jazzy sort of thing, they do it really well.
Yeah, it's like pop jazz.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, babes, you like jazz? Here's Love Live, but it's jazz.
But it's jazz.
It's very iDOL jazz. It's I like it. It's poppy. What do you think about her outfit that she wears here? I'm not sure if I like it or not.
I think it's a weird silhouette, but it could be tweaked to be okay if someone was cosplaying it.
She's got like a big hat with like a wide brim, and the underside of the brim is like black and white polka dots, but the black and white polka dots like kind of repeats as a motif, but most of the outfit is like a yellow dress. And yeah, I think you're right. It's mostly like the silhouette.
It's just like the silhouette. Yeah,
it's kind of bleh.
Geometrical.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I wish it wasn't quite this shade of yellow.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and maybe instead of black polka dots, it could be something different, like a slightly different color. But it has potential, but it's not my favorite of the outfits. I like the hat. I like that the hat has like the under brim that like kind of frames her face in a nice way. It's cute.
And so things are resolved slightly, and then we get our ending song. I think the ending is really cute, like visually.
Yeah, they do like this kind of almost watercolory style, which is very like, I love the vibes of the ending. It's very cute.
Yeah, and the music is all like, we're chasing our dreams, but we're individual people, and it's like, I get the message.
Yeah. Branding is coming through. Let's go.
Let's go.
Drive it home, baby.
And then we get a dramatic post-credit scene.
Yeah, this show loves its post-credit scenes.
Oh, yeah. Love Live loves post-credits.
Yeah, so we see Corinne is back in the student council office with some of the other the other ex-idol girls, and she's like, I looked around and I couldn't find records of Setsuna existing. Isn't that right? Setsuna. Dun dun dun. Student council president is Setsuna. No one saw this coming. Certainly not me.
Her bangs were totally normal as the president, so how would we have known?
How would we have known without her iconic comb over?
So episode 3 picks up where we left off. It's Setsuna being confronted in the office. She basically is like, well, I was gonna get found out one day. I just wish it wasn't like this.
Mm-hmm. And the other girls are like, I thought we agreed that the club was just going on break. Why'd you say that the club is disbanding and just shut it down? And Setsuna's like, well, if I'm quitting, and if you want to continue and try to aim for Love Live, you should do it without me, dropping the title of the show.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
And she's also, like, says some cryptic things of, like, all I did was hurt people, and that's, like, the opposite of what I wanted to be an idol for, so I am leaving because I was too selfish.
This is her blue moment.
It's her blue moment, even though she's not blue.
Sarah's her blue period.
That's blue, another anime.
And that's another anime that I've watched a little bit of, because I think it was on Netflix.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so, later, the president, aka Setsuna in disguise. She like walks by the music room and hears you playing Chase badly on the piano. She's like poking it like a little bird would play the piano. And you ask, he's like, oh, you recognize that song? Are you a fan of Setsuna? And she's like, well, funny you should say that. I do not know Setsuna Yuki. Do not ask me any more questions.
So you just, like, well, you're obviously a Setsuna fan too. I wonder why she quit. She must have her reasons. I bet it was okay. I just really wish she was still an idol.
Yeah, and then not Setsuna president is just like, she quit because she would have continued hurting the other members if she continued. And you's like, you're talking like you have a very succinct interest in this whole thing. And the president's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And then Ayumu interrupts before you could, like, say anything about that. Mm-hmm. And they go to meet with Kasumi.
For Idolu times. But yeah, so later we see President, not Setsuna, watching, like, old videos in her office on YouTube, and she gets sad about quitting because the comments are like, it's a shame that she quit. She could have gone so far, and she, like, gets sad. And she's like, I was being selfish. I wasn't fit to be an idol.
I just made people sad.
But yeah, so later the former Idol Club girls, plus Corinne, Yu, and Ayumu, they all meet up. And they're like, well, we have enough members to reform the group now. And Corinne's like, well, if Setsuna wants to leave, then just let her leave. And Yu's like, I don't think she really wants to quit.
Also, during this meeting, there was the whole, oh, by the way, the student council president is Setsuna. And, like, the only person who was really shocked was Kasumi.
Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, it was hard to recognize her without her comb over, but she does look the same.
Yep. And Yu's like, I had a very suspicious conversation last night, so... Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the other girls agree, is like, yeah, it's like, listen, she was kind of a butt, but we can't really do this without Setsuna. And even Kasumi's like, yeah, she was kind of a butt, but it wouldn't feel right trying to do this without her. The girls hijack the loudspeaker, and they're like, hey, Setsuna Yuki, come to the roof of the school for a fight. A conversation. And
the roof of the school was something they added to the Tokyo Big site to make it not quite Comiket, because what would Love Live be if you couldn't go to the roof of the school?
I know, right? It's like, we can't have a Love Live without them hanging out on the roof of the school. That's illegal. So they go to the roof of so they go to the roof of the school, and Yu is there. All the other girls are there, but they're like hiding and listening and eavesdropping. And Yu's like, hey, you should come back to the school idol club. And Setsuna's like, if I go back, then they'll never be able to make it to Love Live. And then Yu's like, then don't do Love Live. It's not like it's the name of the show or anything. It's fine.
And she's also like literally none of the other girls care about Love Live besides you. I think you're all right.
I think you're gonna be okay. And like, they do explain, one of my complaints was like, they don't even tell you what Love Live is. And then I realized that I just must have blinked and missed their brief conversation about what Love Live is. Because they just like, yeah, it's like the international or the national like tournament for idols. And so that's all the lore that you need, really. But so they're like, school idols have to do Love Live. It's like, no, you really don't actually. Why don't we just like be chill? And then Yu's just like, I'll just be happy as long as I'm able to hear you sing. And then Setsuna gets so inspired that she switches to her comb over and bursts into song.
The best part though is there's a scene with her pulling out her braids, but I get being able to pull out your braids, but being able to do that but also put in a comb over side ponytail in one fell swoop is a special talent.
I know, right? It's I gotta trap the idol essence in my comb over if I'm gonna perform. And then she does her song, which is, I forgot the name of it, but it's I
think it was Dive.
Yeah, that sounds right. Her aesthetic is still on point. Very rock, lots of pyrotechnics. And I wrote this in my notes. She goes underwater. Yes, she goes underwater for part of it.
She sees the crabs in a dolphin. She sees the crabs from Akihabara.
Is that A-Rise?
Hey, A-Rise, hey, you're here.
A-Rise cameo and Nijigasaki confirmed. But yeah, so I wrote in my notes that her song kind of reminds me of early 2000s female rock music. I can see Avril Lavigne
You're
singing
right.
this.
I can picture it. Oh no.
Just she's very belty, and there's just a lot of heavy guitars.
She's very Avril Lavigne.
She's Setsuna Yuki Avril Lavigne confirmed.
I mean,
it's not a bad thing. I love her.
Actually, for Vert, she's actually Hannah Montana for real.
Oh, I see. No, you're right though. She is.
She actually is Hannah Montana for real.
She's literally Hannah Montana because she does. Ah, shit.
Uh-oh.
That means that she is the female counterpart of that one Udapri boy.
Tokia Udapri, who's Hannah Montana. Yep.
That's
confirmed.
I don't think it's a ship, but I want to see a collab between these two.
Yeah.
It's the forbidden collab because as soon as Setsuna Yuki is seen with a man, the entire universe will explode and she'll be immediately canceled.
Because she's in the timeline where there's no men.
Yeah, that too.
It will implode.
So it causes a paradox, and also she gets canceled for interacting with a man in any capacity.
When a love life meets a man, that's when they get raptured, actually.
Oh, so you think that just that's what happened in Muse? Is they just at one point
they went into they went into a bakery and there was a guy there, and then they got raptured.
And then they got raptured because they talked to men. Oh no! Sarah, true idols don't talk to boys. If you talk to boys, you will go to idol heaven. However, that implies that every other show where the characters do talk to, say, a producer or any male characters, they're already in idol heaven. Which implies
idol heaven is just heaven's Udapri. So, idol Illuminati.
This is a tangled fucking web.
Oh, the tangled web we weave.
Hi, welcome to Idol Days. If this is your first episode of our podcast, we're sorry.
Look, Heaven's Udapri has the whole Heaven's Gate song with the whole actual rapture situation, if you're thinking about real life cults. Idol heaven, getting raptured, talking to men, it all connects. It's very clear how it connects.
Talking to men. It's just a factor in what happens to people when they get raptured. Maybe someday I will talk to a man and then I'll get raptured and go to idol, the true idol.
And you know who was a man? Jesus.
Who? Sarah! Jesus, the world's first idol?
Turns my chair around. Hey, kids.
Hey, kids.
So, back to the episode.
Episode 4! We totally didn't just go on a rant that got edited for 10 minutes that just got edited out. Anyway!
So, it opens up with Ai and Rina, and you see their perspective of them watching this Setsuna. I guess she just, spawns a stage.
No, it's diegetic because, there's people, watching this concert who, hey, I saw your concert on the roof the other day. And I'm like, this is fully diegetic. They can actually physically alter the landscape just by being idorus.
Which makes sense. We've seen idols do more than that too, honestly.
This is true. But it's just, I feel like we need to point that out.
Yes, it's very important. And so they watch it, and then they start talking about it later, and then Ai's like, hey, what do you think? Do you want to go join? And Rena's like, yeah, I just want to make friends.
Yeah, so Sporty Girl and Computer Girl end up showing up to the school idol club, and they're like, hey, we want to be school idols too. And they're like, "K."
Yeah. And then Ai's like, but what does a school idol do? ? And they're like, we're figuring that out right now.
Yeah, this is probably my shortest notes of all the episodes, just because, like, a lot of it is just standard idol club stuff. Is like, this is them practicing, and this is them talking about performances they want to do, and like they kind of split into different groups and do like idol training. Like some of the girls go to karaoke, and some of them are practicing other stuff. It's just this is kind of the most fillery episode of the main girl episodes, but Ai's just kind of there, and she's helping.
The big thing to note with all of this is, like, they're really trying to point out that, like, whenever they do something, like, different girls have, like, preferences for what they like and what they sing and, like, what even, like, how they do their exercises. So it's like all these girls are very different from each other.
Yes, but they come together to be idols at their school. But yeah, so they all discuss, like, being solo idols, and they're like, oh, solo idols. It's a little bit weird, because when we joined this group, we thought we were going to be in a group, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to be good if we're on stage all by ourselves. And Ai is especially nervous, because she's like, I've always done things with groups, because I help out, like, at some of the other sports teams, and I've always done things with a team. I got to get my head in the game. And then at one point, they're out early, like, exercising, and there's a conversation between Ai and Emma, Switzerland girl, and Emma's like, you're just so good at motivating the rest of the group, and Ai is so excited about that she runs out into the park, and then she bursts into songs. Yeah, I love this song.
Yeah, it's very Genki, very upbeat, fast BPM.
It's almost Eurobeat-y, like in the chorus.
It definitely feels like a song where if I was playing a mobile Love Live game, I would enjoy tapping to the rhythm of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of hidden star lore. When I was a kid, like when I was in like late middle school, early high school, I was very into like Eurobeat Disney music.
Wow, what a 90s kid you are, Star.
Shut the fuck up. But no, yeah, I was very into it. It's like, and so just like the synthy, like, if you've listened to Eurobeat music, you know exactly the type of sound I'm talking about. It's not a sound that can be made with the human mouth, but Ai's song has a lot of it, and I'm like, this is so nostalgic. It reminds me of listening to Disney Eurobeat on the bus.
Yeah, nice.
It's good.
And her outfit's cute too. It's like kind of a cheerleader outfit, but also kind of an idol outfit.
It's like somewhere in the middle. I like it.
It's very cute. And while she's performing, all the other girls are looking on and they're like, wow, I bet we'll be great at being solo too. I'm inspired.
I bet that we'll be good at being solos. I am inspired.
I'm inspired. You're making puns that I would approve of.
Yeah, exactly. That's the joke. That's the joke.
So, next episode, this is also another Focus on a Girl episode. We got a bunch of Focus on a Girl episodes.
Like, yeah, most of them are.
There's 9 girls, and there's 13
girls,
episodes.
And there's 13 episodes, yeah. So this is Emma's episode, heavy air quotes, Emma's episode.
So at the very beginning, we have like a flashback of Emma going to Nijigasaki, and on their first day, she meets Karine. And basically, they become best friends immediately. Yeah,
they just immediately bond for no real discernible reason. They're just, yup, we're together now. We're girlfriends.
And the big thing is, like, when they meet, Karine is already kind of famous for her modeling, and she's super into her modeling. And Emma's like, well, I came all the way from Switzerland because I want to become a school idol. Let's support each other in our dreams, right?
Yeah, and also just, like, you could have been a school idol in Switzerland, you know? You probably could have done that. Just not to crush your dreams or anything, but you could have done that.
Have
Whatever.
you seen Sound of Music, Emma? Climb every mountain.
I actually saw Sound of Music for the first time very recently.
Oh,
didn't think that movie was gonna go some places that it went to, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, it gets dark.
Like, I didn't know that this movie was going to end with, like, running from joining the Nazis, but I dig it.
Yeah, and they end up, I to my knowledge, don't they go into the mountains of, like, the Swiss Alps?
Yeah, they just run away into the mountains and they're like, fuck World War II, we're out of here.
And then they become idols in the Swiss Alps.
In the Swiss Alps, let's go! And then many generations later, Emma goes to Japan to become a school idol. This is my headcanon now.
Perfect. Sold.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? You chase her into the mountains, and then she makes babies with the dude that she ran away with, because they totally needed more kids. And then
and Maria was a nun.
We solved it! We solved it! We solved it! We solved it! Episode over!
It.
We've solved the nun equation, everybody!
Sound of Music was our hit missing link.
The missing link between the Swiss Alps and idols.
And nuns.
And nuns. The triangle of plot points. Idolluminati confirmed. See, Sarah, I told you. We just needed to talk a little bit more. We needed to get a couple episodes deeper into the podcast. Into the anime before I would join. Yeah, I had to warm up a little bit first before I got into the conspiracy bullshit. You know, yeah. Anyway, all nuns are secretly idols. And so this is an Emma episode. She is not a nun.
So we're back in the present. She's at the school. They basically just are like, what's life back in Switzerland? And she's like,
we have
high
goats.
on the hill was a lonely goat horde. Lady of the lake.
Sarah, no. Sarah, stop it. Stop it. You stop it. But I mean, you're not wrong, but stop.
No, she just, like, lays out a bunch of stereotypes about Switzerland, basically, and is like, that was my life.
Yeah, all those stereotypes you've heard about people who live in Switzerland, that's me! But yeah, and so then at some point, like, Corinne is at home and she's doing a questionnaire for an interview, and I think, like, one of the questions on the interview is, what do you most want to do with your life? And she's like, I don't know, what do I want to do with my life? And then Emma comes over and she finds an Idol magazine in Corinne's room and she's like, Corinne, I didn't know you liked idols. You should just join the club officially. And Corinne's like, I don't want to be an idol. I'm just in it to help you. Stop inviting me to your club. And Emma's like, damn, bitch, you didn't have to say it quite that rude. Okay.
But basically, she's like, I actually also bought that magazine for you, so you take it instead, right? Like,
yes.
Trying to throw her off.
Yeah, but the questionnaire was in the magazine. Like, she ended up accidentally, like, shutting it into the magazine. And then the next day, Emma finds it, and the little interview form falls out. And it's Corinne's answer that she wrote is, the thing I want to do most is I want to be a school idol. And Emma's like, gasp! And she goes and finds Corinne, and she's like, Corinne, let's go on a date! For no reason! I don't have any ulterior motives. Let's just hang out and give people an excuse to ship us.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like at the end of their date, she's like, hey, Corinne, I found your thing. Hey, what's up about that, by the way?
And Corinne's like, I'm too cool to be a school idol. Everyone expects things of me and they want me to be cool because I'm a model. What's Shugo-chara? I've never seen that anime before. And Emma's just like, you should be true to yourself. You should just be yourself. And to prove it to you, I'm going to burst into song right now.
And she does.
And she does.
She has I like her outfit. It's very cute. It's very a stereotype of Switzerland.
No, it absolutely is.
She has, like, a long, like, calf-length dress and, like, a lot of green and, like, a straw hat around her neck.
Yeah, and, like, so they're indoors and kind of, like, it almost looks a bit like a modern art museum is where they are, and, like, there's this big just ball, like, hanging from the ceiling in the background, and when she starts singing, it all just gets covered in grass to the point where it almost looks post-apocalypse, but it's if the post-apocalypse had a landscaping team.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just like a Marimo grass ball in the background now. Just floating in the ceiling. But yeah, I wrote down, it's like, the song is pretty standard iDOL fare. It's like happy without being eye levels of energetic. It doesn't really stand out too much. And then I put in parentheses, like Emma, and then in another layer of parentheses, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so at the end, Kareen joins.
Yeah, she's like, can I really be a school idol? And Emma says, you already are one, because you became one the moment you decided to do it. And I just got war flashbacks to all the, like, VTuber discourse I've seen, where it's like, are you a VTuber before you've actually started streaming? And I just, like, all those Twitter fights that I've seen, it's like, you're a school idol the second you say that you are one! And I'm like, I get 1,000-yard stare.
I've seen the war.
I've seen the war. Is that what the OnStars war is? I don't think so.
Maybe.
That's what the me war is. All the
next episode
pre-debut school idols.
So next episode is Rena's episode. So we already mentioned this is one of the ones we liked. So we'll go through it, but be aware it's an enjoyable episode.
Yeah.
Side note about Nijigasaki, because every episode is like individual girls. For anyone listening who hasn't seen Nijigasaki, if like one of the girls seems interesting, you like. Any of these episodes can be a standalone. You really don't have to watch them in order. Yeah,
I mean, you should probably watch them in order, but just because, like, Corinne is officially in the club after this. But yeah, there's, like, it's so light on overarching plot, you could absolutely just watch
You could just watch one episode.
By themselves, yeah. But yeah, so Rena is shy baby who, like, just doesn't know how to talk to people, and she's always, like, worried about the way that people see her and like how she's able to express herself, which is not well. She's very self-conscious about it. She's got like this group of other girls in her class that she really wants to be friends with, but every time she tries to approach them, she gets nervous and she just walks off. She's like, never mind, it's fine.
Yeah. And notably also, like, whenever she talks to people, she usually has like flat expression and she doesn't use a lot of intonation in her voice. And so she's like, at some point she mentions how like people always like never really made friends with her, and that's part of why.
Yeah, she's very kind of, for lack of a better term, she's kind of robotic.
Because she likes to do technology.
She's the computer girl.
And her best friend is AI.
Oh shit, I's a robot.
I is her robot friend.
Honoka Bot 2 gets replaced with iBot. By I. Our bot on the Discord server that announces when new episodes are out. iBot.
But yeah, basically, she is having trouble making friends, and then she gets like tickets to go to like this arcade that's, I guess, in Odaiba, which might be part of their school. I don't know. And like I comes up to her and she's like, "What are those? Are those tickets to that cool new arcade? I want to go." And she's like, "Oh yeah, you can have them. I don't have any friends to go with." And then I's like, "But I'm your friend now. Let's go together."
This is our first conversation, and I'm adopting you. And I'm just like, this is literally what happened with me and Sarah.
That's honestly what I do with people.
No, I've seen you do it so much.
I make friends like that.
No, I wish I had this superpower because like
I just like people.
I know you do, and it's adorable. I love you, and I love, like, you take Sarah anywhere, and she will make friends with anyone.
I think
it's
the
very
problem,
cute.
I think that's the thing is I have so many friends who are introverts, and they're all amazed by it, but it's just because, like, I like them and I adopt them.
Yeah, Sarah's the owner of the introvert orphanage. She runs the orphanage for, like, lonely introverts. I hope that everyone has a Sarah in their life, because it's a good thing to have.
But they go to the cool new arcade, and then we get to the present day, and then now all the girls are hanging out at the cool new arcade.
They're playing laser VR tag.
Wow, so high tech.
Mm-hmm. And then later, Rena's classmates appear, like the same ones from the opener, and they recognize some of the other iDOL girls from, like, the music videos that they've put on YouTube. And Rena has apparently released one, but it's got, like, a little animated character instead of her. And they're like, oh, yours is so cute. Rena, when are you going to do a concert? And Rena's like, I'm going to do a concert here. And she just kind of blurts that out. And then she's later like, maybe I shouldn't do that. And all the other girls are like, no, you should do it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, because her reasoning is, she's like, I just want to make friends with these people, and they wanted me to do this, and that's probably how I make a friend.
And so she, like, really buckles down. She's practicing, like, her dancing and her singing and all this stuff. She at one point takes some of the girls over to her house. She has a lot of computers and stuff. She's like, I never had any friends, so I learned a lot about how to do computers instead.
And I made this friend right here. She's a robot. Her name is AI.
AI. She's the pun bot. Because I make a lot of puns. She's the pun robot.
Pun robot.
Yeah. And so she's got a gamer chair. Can we talk about how she kind of has a gamer chair?
She has a gamer chair. She's so cool.
Yep. She's best character, probably. Like, I like a lot of the characters, but I think Rena might just be the best character.
I feel like if they were real people, I would be in the Irina friend group.
No, I want to be in the Irina friend group. It's like... Sarah, you and I and Rena, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
We are in the friend group already because they're us.
And I'm a robot. So
and I do computers. It fucking works. But yeah. So the other girls are, like, really encouraging her, but then the next day she tries to talk to her classmates again, and she ends up chickening out again, and she's just like, I haven't changed it at all. I'm never gonna change. I'm never gonna be able to do this. And she just kind of doesn't show up to practice, so all the other girls show up at her apartment, and they're just like, Rena! Let us in, because we need to encourage you in our trademarked style that we do in everyone's episode.
And
it's your turn, baby.
And because Rena has technology, she's able to unlock the door remotely, which is good because she's hiding under a box.
Yeah, she's doing her best Solid Snake impression. But yeah, and so, like, the other girls are, like, giving her encouragement. She kind of vents. She's just like, I want to be able to connect with the people watching my performances, and I'm worried I can't do that because my stupid face doesn't emote properly. And all the other girls are... Well, Kasumi is, like, says something interesting. She's like, the best idols are able to turn their weaknesses into their strengths, and Rita gets inspired. And then the next day she has her concert. And then she has managed to, in, like, 8 hours, put together, like, her little robot face covering. It's like she has an iPad in front of her face, basically. And the little iPad has little faces on it that do little expressions and stuff. And it's super cute. So, just briefly, I have seen people do very good cosplays of this. And there was one that I saw on Twitter a long time ago. I cannot remember the name of the cosplayer. But they had, like, the actual computerized little thing, and they could, like, change the expressions. And one of them was just Sans Undertale.
Oh my god. I love it.
It was so good. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll post it in the Discord if I can.
Incredible. I'm so happy.
It's so good. It's very good. But yeah, so then she has her little song and dance number. The song is very chiptune-y. It's very bouncy. It's got kind of like a heavy beats, like, rhythm section. Her voice sounds a little synthesized, and it works with the theme. It's very cute.
Yes. And then also afterwards, from then on, whenever she needs to express herself in the anime, instead of just, like, not speaking or, like, saying things monotone, she holds, like, the little sketch pad in front of her face with the expression she wants, and she talks through the sketch pad.
Yeah, and it's
so
very
like her
cute
way to communicate.
Yeah. I think when she was released in the mobile game, there was a long point where, like, no one knew what her face actually looked like because she always had her little sketchbook or her little screen in front of her face. So, like, it was kind of a thing. It's like, why is she always hiding her face? Why is she always hiding her face? And it turns out it's just because she's a cute little anime girl and she just is self-conscious. But she's cute.
It's her ADA accommodation for being an idol. We appreciate it.
iDOL. I don't know what ADA stands for. Well, replace one of them with iDOL and then it works.
Mm-hmm. Yep, iDOL. Perfect.
iDOL. I'm going to look it up.
Next episode, we have our Kanata episode. So another one that's a relatively, in my opinion, strong
Americans
episode.
with Disabilities Act is what ADA
iDOLs.
stands for. iDOLs with Disabilities Act.
Yes,
there we go.
We appreciate her having accommodations
yes.
that make her able to be idol.
iDOL accommodations, but yes.
Kanata's episode is our next episode.
Episode 7.
So we actually start with Kanata at her home. And she is cooking, and who she's cooking for is her little sister who we meet just now.
Yeah, she's got the same hair color as Kanata, but she's got like little swirly pigtails.
And she's also like a normal girl from the game.
Yep. And so you see like Kanata, she's up early, she's cooking breakfast, and the little sister's like, hey, can I come visit your school idol club? And Kanata's like, yeah, you can come see my school idol club. I would love that. And you get the feeling like these two sisters get along very well, and it's cute.
You also find out that little sister goes to a different high school that also has a school idol club, and little sister is also a school idol.
Yep, and is apparently a very popular one.
Yes, very, very well known for having school idols school.
Yes. And so, like, a lot of this episode is just spent on, like, the girls giving Haruka a view of, like, this is what we do at our club! And, like, Kanata is, like, really giving it her all, despite usually being so sleepy, but she really wants to do well because her sister's there watching.
And at the end of the day, they're all eating snacks, and Kanata just, like, passes out at the table.
Yeah, she finally succumbs to her sleepy. But they have, like, a pillow ready, and they just, like, slide it under her head, and he's like, yep, there she goes. And Haruka's like, does she do this all the time? And they're like, yeah, this is pretty normal.
And then Haruka's like, she never does this at home and she didn't say anything about it. My sister's overworking herself and she will die if she keeps this up.
Yeah, and then so Kanata wakes up and then younger sister is just like, I'm so concerned about you that I'm going to quit being a school idol so I can help you at the house more. Because you find out that Kanata, she's on a scholarship, so she has to keep her grades up or else she'll get kicked out of the school. She's working a part-time job, like 5 days of the week, like every day after school. And she's also in the school idol club, and also their mom is like super duper busy, and so she does most of the chores at home as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's sleepy for a goddamn reason. She is working herself to the bone.
Yeah.
But she never complains about it because she's a good girl. And so she's just like, don't worry, little sister, I'll just have to work harder so that you don't worry about me so much. And the little sister's just like, this is exactly the problem. I'm going to quit being a school idol so I can help you more. And she's like, shit.
Yeah. So Yu runs after her and she's like, are you serious about not wanting to be an idol? And Haruka's like, well, I really want to be an idol, but my sister is the number one person in my life, so if it means sacrificing stuff for her, I'll sacrifice stuff.
Yeah, but then Kanata's like, they both have like kind of the same feelings. It's like, I want to be a school idol, but I also want to be able to take care of my sister, but apparently these two things are in conflict, so what do we do? So basically, Yu steps in to help. Because that's what she does. That's what she's there to do. That's her whole thing.
Essentially, what happens is Yu makes a deal with Haruka's school idol group. So for Haruka's like idol performance, which she may or may not continue doing at this rate, instead of Haruka going on stage, Yu grabs Haruka and is like, "Hey, come to the audience. We have something to show you."
And then Kanata just hijacks their stage for a minute. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna be your opening act, kinda, sorta. And so then Kanata gets her song.
Yes, it's all about, like, love and wanting to go into the future with somebody, which is her sister.
It's really cute. Like, her outfit is, like, kind of this soft purple, and it kind of looks like something, like a little belly dancer princess outfit, kind of.
Yeah. And she has the little curl, like her little bear ears.
Yeah. The song is very kind of like slow tempo and kind of dreamy. The overall aesthetic actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the Shelter music video.
That's a good reference.
Yeah, it like the song doesn't sound like it, but the aesthetic is similar. It's kind of similar vibe.
And so after the concert, the sisters reunite, and Kanata's like, I just wanted to show how much you mean to me, but also at the same time showing how much idols mean to me. And you know what? We both have the same dream, which is take care of our sister and be idol. So let's work out a compromise.
Yeah, so let's continue supporting each other as idols, and then we'll split up some of the home chores.
Yeah, and so basically Kanata's like, or Haruka says, well, can I get a part-time job? But Kanata's like, no, I'm still your big sister, no.
Yeah, but like she does try to teach Haruka how to cook, and it's cute.
It's cute, and Haruka's not good at cooking, but Kanata's like, well, it's my sister's cooking, it doesn't matter what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's cute. These two are cute together.
Yeah, they're good siblings.
Sisters.
Next episode 8. This is our Shizuku episode.
Yeah, honestly, like I kind of liked this one too, but I
did too.
I have a couple of things to say, and it's not bad. It's just we'll get there.
I'm curious if there'll be similar things.
Yeah.
So we have like a little Black Swan moment with Shizuku.
No, that's exactly what it is, though. So, like she's on stage in a white dress, and she's talking like about how much she just wants to sing, but then an identical character wearing a black dress and a masquerade mask comes out, and it's just like, you just want to be loved by everyone, but you're hiding your true self from the world. And then cut to present day, and we see, like, the girls are getting interviewed by, like, the newspaper club or something. And Shizuku, this is, like, the first time we really get any development of her character.
We have no idea who she is at this point.
Finally. She's, like, barely been in the anime. She's just been in the background most of the time. And, like, finally, we're learning about this character. And she says a red flag, which is like, I want to be an idol who is loved by everyone. And I just put in my notes, oh, baby, that's a fool's errand. That's going to be the topic of this episode, isn't it?
Yep.
Here's an important life lesson from your podcast hosts who are probably probably older than most of our target audience. Perfection is a fool's errand and is not to be strived towards, because you will literally never make it, because perfection does not exist. So instead, you should strive to do the things that make you happy and the things that you enjoy doing.
Heck yeah.
And I give this motivational TED Talk every time I do my webcomic panel, because I'm sorry, I'm going on a segue, but like so many people never start doing your webcomic. This applies to a lot of things, but my personal experiences with webcomics. So many people never start a webcomic, never start XYZ hobby, because they're worried I can't do it perfectly, so I'm never going to do it at all. Perfection doesn't exist!
Yep.
Just do the thing badly, and have fun with it. It doesn't matter if you're any good at it. Just do it, and you'll get better by doing it, and it's going to be fun, and I've lost the original point, but the point is, you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be loved by everyone, because that is impossible. There's almost 8 billion people on this goddamn planet, and you should not waste your time trying to appease to the people that don't like you.
Especially when there's Nikos in the world.
Especially the Nikos in the world, because fuck Nico Yazawa. There, I said it.
So, anyways, the role that she has next is, like, in this big drama festival, and she has been cast as the lead role, and the lead role is about a singer who's also an idol, of course.
Well, no, it's just she is, like, so they cast her because she is an idol, like Shizuku is an idol, and so, like, the president of the drama club is like, I gave you this part because I thought you'd be good for a singing role because you're an idol. But you're not good enough at being honest with yourself. So we're taking your part away. And Shizuku's like, no!
And so basically it's like, we're going to have another audition. You can audition again, but if you're not the best, you're not getting your role back.
Yeah. And so we see, like, the other girls eventually find out about this, and they kind of try to pep talk her. But Shizuku's like, we get another Black Swan monologue, and Shizuku's like, you always hide your true self because you don't want other people to judge you and think you're weird and push you away because you're weird. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how is she weird? We don't know anything about this character. This is the first time she's shown any personality at all.
So at some point, they, specifically Kasumi and Rina, who are also first years with her, they take her out on, like, a friend date. So they go around town, and at some point, Shizuku sees, like, a poster for, like, an old movie, and she just starts staring at it, and Rina's like, do you like old movies? That's unusual, Shizuku.
Yeah, she says that, like, she asks, did you get into acting because you liked old movies? And Shizuku's like, I got into acting because that means I can be someone else. And Rina's like, do you hate yourself? And Shizuku's like, let's change the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she ends up walking off and, like, leaving the other two. And then Rina's just like, I can relate to Shizuku not liking herself, but I was the one who helped me out of that funk. And now Shizuku needs someone to help her out of that funk. Stares at Kasumi.
And Kasumi's like, well, that's my job, I guess.
I guess that's my role in this episode. So Kasumi goes and finds her and tries to give her a pep talk. And we find out that Shizuku just really likes old classic movies and stuff and was worried that the other kids didn't like that kind of stuff. And so they wouldn't like her because she was too weird. And this is my one thing. I understand that she's like 15. So she's very young. And her brain has not finished developing. So I can understand this is a thing that she would be self-conscious about. But also, she could have been so much weirder.
She could have been way weirder.
There's way weirder things to be into that, like, people would have actually shunned her for. The first thing that pops into my head is like, now, okay, liking old movies, now if you were a furry, I would understand this, because unfortunately we have friends who are furries, they unfortunately do get a very bad rap, and I could understand wanting to hide that, because there are a lot of people who are shit to furries. We love furries in this house, by the way. And it's just like, you could have been so much worse.
They definitely chickened out on what it could have been.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like, no, they totally did chicken out, though. It's like, you could have made her so much weirder, and you made it so that she just likes old movies. Yeah. That's the weird thing about her.
If her weird thing was like, I only listen to, what's it called? Insane Clown Posse. Then we're like, okay.
She's a juggalo.
She's a juggalo. It's fine. We understand. It's okay. Like, you can hide that.
It's like if she's a furry. Or like...
or a juggalo.
Or a furry juggalo.
Or both, yeah.
Or just like she's just really into true crime or something.
Ooh, that would
have been fun. Like, I want an idol who's just like really into true crime. That would be really fun, actually.
Oh, we keep talking about wanting murder idols. Give us our murder
idols. Murder idols. But no, it's like, I feel like maybe the producers didn't want to give her a hobby that was like too actually divisive, so they just made her like a certain genre of film, but like old movies aren't bad.
Give her something like, I like causing credit card and check fraud. Like, that's more fun.
I've committed tax fraud. I'm a minor, but I've committed tax frauds in 17 states. Even though I'm a dependent and I don't file my own taxes. You'd be amazed what you can get away with. Maybe she's just, like, really into accounting.
That's important. Yeah, I love accounting. And everyone's like, yeah, maybe we don't want to be your friend.
It's like, well, I mean, I feel like accounting, like the actual accounting, not like TikTok's version of an accountant, if you understand that reference. Sarah, do you understand that reference?
I have no idea. I'm old.
Okay, so a brief culture lesson for you guys. If someone says, oh, I'm an accountant, and then someone else says, oh, are you an accountant or are you an accountant? They're asking if you're a sex worker.
Oh,
because apparently that's like a way that there's like a song that was popular on TikTok for a while. It's like, I have a normal job as an accountant and I like to be an accountant. It's not a euphemism for anything else. I just am an accountant.
There you go.
Yeah, so like if someone says, it's like, yeah, I'm in accounting, it's just like a safe for work version of saying, like, yeah, I'm a sex worker, I'm a stripper, I'm something like that.
They're really making, like, actual accountants sound way cooler than they are.
I know! I have several family members who are accountants, but they're not the cool accountants. They're, like, actually helping with my taxes accountants.
Sorry for any actual accountants out there for calling you boring.
I mean, would you rather numbers, or would you rather have some cool outfits and dance on a stripper pole? Do you know how much muscle that requires? Like, holy shit.
It's pretty cool.
Pole dancing is extremely impressive, and I'm in awe of anyone who can, like, actually do it. Because every time I see pole dancers, like, doing, like, the little spins on the pole, I'm like, how do you not just, like, destroy your skin on, like, the metal pole? Ugh, it looks so hard. I tried exactly one time, and I hurt myself.
So back to idols.
Back to idols.
Basically, Kasumi's like, that's not weird.
That's not weird.
And she's also like, hey, I love you for who you are, which is you're pretty stubborn. You don't like showing who you are, which is part of who you are.
Why are you worried about other people liking you when I like you? And now they're
and then they kiss.
No.
Well, maybe they kiss.
They don't kiss, Sarah. I'm sorry. I know you want them to kiss, but they don't.
And then Kasumi Tsundere runs off because that's how it is.
That's how it do be like that sometimes.
And then you see Shizuku like laughing, but it feels like a genuine laugh, and she's like, "Oh, like she's right. She broke me. She saw me for who I am, despite me trying to hide it.
She broke my curse." Mm-hmm. And now I'm a real girl, and I'm gonna go get, like, we never see the audition, but she does get her main role back.
Yes, and it's kind of cool because, like, she basically Hilary Duff Lizzie McGuire movies herself and talks to herself on stage. Mm-hmm. And like there's like the black swan and the white swan, but then like when she does her idol song, she like switches to like a half black, half white dress. Very cool.
Yeah, and so, it's very cool. Like, the title of this episode is, like, monochrome, and I'm like, good aesthetic.
And the lyrics, and then she sings her idol song, and the lyrics of the idol song are basically, like, the, feel the rain on your skin,
Sarah,
no one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in.
No one else.
Because it's even raining.
It's even raining in the stage play. And, so the actual song, it reminds me a lot of the Heart of a Marionette song from Idolmaster. We keep talking about Idolmaster. But it's like that, but combined with like cutesy Love Live vibes. And I wish they hadn't chickened out, because I would love to see Shizuku do something like more dramatic.
No one else can speak
Feel
the
words rain on your lips. Ah, jeez.
It's that. That's the song.
Oh, Sewa. Yeah.
And then post-credits, we get another post-credits. The newspaper is interviewing her again, and they're like, do you have anything to say about your idol performance? And she's like, see me for who I am. So she's changed her goal from making everyone like her to having people see her for who she is.
Growth, baby.
Yeah.
All right, episode 9. We're 2 hours into this episode. We gotta get through the rest of this.
Karine!
It's Karine's episode. She's the last
one. Her second one, really.
Her second one, really, yeah. So the girls are becoming more popular because all their little music videos are getting uploaded to YouTube. And then they kind of start talking about being able to do a concert together, but put a pin in that because it's not going to be a thing until later. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, Haruka, the Kanata's younger sister, she shows up with another girl who is another one of the normal girls from the mobile game.
Yes, I remembered this girl.
Yeah. And so she's like, hey, we're performing in a music festival that has a school idol block, and we wanted to invite you guys' club since you just kind of got started, but the problem is that you can only have one song for this festival. And so the girls are like, well, who's going to get to perform? And they did briefly discuss doing a medley, but then they're like, but then it'd be like 9 minutes long, and I don't think they'd let us do that. And then they're like, maybe we should just draw lots, but Corinne's like, you want to use luck to decide who's going to get to do this really important opportunity, and she gets frustrated and she leaves.
Yes. She's like, you guys, if you want to actually be serious and you feel like you're actually growing as idols, you guys got to make your own decisions.
Yeah, it's like you can't just let luck decide everything. You actually have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Showing her blue one energy.
Yes. So later we get a little scene where Corinne is at a modeling gig, and then she finishes the gig and she's like, I have somewhere else to be, and she takes out her phone GPS.
Mm-hmm. And she gets lost.
Because she has Azusa energy.
She has Azusa vibes, yes. And she bumps into a couple of the other girls from the idol club, and they end up like dragging her to go idol shopping.
Mm-hmm. It's like a not animate, because like they have like idol stuff, but they also have like manga, which is what Setsuna's there for, because she's a nerd.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, I'm not sure if this is probably an actual location, and I just don't know where it is, but it kind of reminds me of, just the vibes of it, like, from the outside, the stores all kind of look normal. It kind of reminds me of Otome Road, actually.
That's fair.
Just like I don't think that's where this is, but that's kind of just what it reminds me of.
It's probably in Odaiba somewhere.
Probably. But yeah, just the vibe, that's kind of what it reminded me of. It's like a fairly normal looking store on the outside, but you go in and there's like anime posters everywhere. Anyway, so after they go shopping for school idol stuff and they help Corinne find her little dance studio, they're all talking. And Corinne's like, well, yeah, I'm taking dance classes because I kind of talked myself up the other day, but I realized, like, you guys are all my rivals and I want to be able to compete with you, like, on the same level, so I'm taking these dance classes. But then the other girls are like, hey, let's just go ahead and decide now who gets to be in this festival. And because it's Corinne's episode, you know who gets to be in the festival. Everybody decides that Corinne gets to take the spot.
And the way they do it is like through voting through text, which like they could have decided to vote a little earlier in the episode, but that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's the day of the festival, and the girls are like all ready, and they're like, yeah, Corinne, you're gonna do so good. But then she gets stage fright, like hearing the people in the crowd. 'Cause it's like a big music festival. There's like 3,000 people there.
Yes, and not all of them are there to support idols, too, so she knows, like, she's not going to be the only attraction.
Yeah, and so she just gets nervous, and the others find her backstage, like, having stage fright and feeling bad, and then the others kind of give her a pep talk, and she's like, yeah, we're rivals, but we'll still support each other, and we're here to support you!
Yeah, and there's also, like, the comment that they're all solo idols, but they're not alone, even though they're solo.
Yeah, it's like, you might be alone on that stage, but you're not alone in your heart. Because we're there. We're going to help you. And so she gets energized and she goes on stage and her song is awesome.
Her song is awesome. Her outfit is awesome.
Yes!
I love her idol outfit.
She has like, it's like blue with like some ruffles and stuff, but it's very like kind of sexy. Like she's got like a pencil
it's like a
skirt.
Tuxedo almost, but like sexy
a little bit.
Tuxedo.
Yeah, and so
she
it's
has
like latex probably or something, like something very like techno-y.
And she has a tiny hat.
She has a tiny hat.
We appreciate the tiny hat.
Yeah, the song has, like, very EDM vibes. It sounds like something that would play at a dance club.
Which, honestly, good choice for a music festival.
No, it's fucking good. I love it.
It works. It's something not too idol-y, so the non-idol-y people could get into it.
Yeah.
And post-credits, they all start talking about what they're gonna do next, and they're like, what if we did a training camp?
Training camp episode! Alright, so episode 10, training camp episode. It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
There's not too much to say about this one.
There is some, like, little bit of drama that does happen, like, halfway through, which is Yu disappears. Their training camp is at their school, and they're all disappointed, which I don't know why they should be, because their school is the whole island of Odaiba.
Yeah, but also, I wrote in my notes, they don't have a rich girl character, so they have to do their training camp at school this time.
It's true.
But yeah, so, like, they make food, and they train, and they're like, pranking each other. It's exactly what you think it is for this episode.
Yes.
This is kind of fillery. But yeah.
So the big drama that happens is at some point Yu wanders off and she ends up in the music room with the piano, the one that she like did the plinky plunky keys on before. But this time she's there and she's playing music, but she's good at it.
And you're like, oh, character growth.
And while she's gone, both Setsuna and Ayumu go out to go look for her. And the person who hears her playing is Setsuna. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I remember when we first met in here, you weren't that good at piano. You must have been practicing. And Yu's like, yeah, I've just been really inspired recently and I've been practicing. And she's like, you guys have grown so much too. It's all thanks to my idol girls. You have made me think about my future and what I really want.
Mm-hmm. Which is a pretty normal thing to say. And nothing too, like, crazy. You wouldn't think anything crazy based on that conversation.
But what happens is when they're leaving the music room, Setsuna trips and falls into Yu's arms, like smooth.
And Ayumu sees it from a distance and it's just like...
And she's like, my wife is doing what with this harlot?
Ayumu is jealous.
Jealous. And so kind of for the rest of the training camp, Ayumu is, like, in her head, not happy, like, stewing.
Yeah, she's just, like, keeps looking at you, like, talking to Setsuna, and she's like, oh. But yeah, so then later that night, they're all hanging out at, like, the school swimming pool because, you know, it's summer, and they gotta show them in swimsuits.
Though most of their swimsuits do, again, cover their sternum, where if they had a heart defect, you wouldn't know it.
If they had heart surgery, you wouldn't know. Listen to our previous episode about Selection Project to listen to me talk about that for a while. Anyway, so they're all just kind of like hanging out and talking to each other, and then that night Yu pitches her idea. He's like, I want to do a concert where all school idols can perform. Like a school idol festival. How like the name of the mobile game inspired this anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, next episode 11, we're in, like, this last arc, by the way, so we're not in individual girl episodes.
Yeah, we've moved past the individual girls.
So, it starts off with Setsuna, like, playing double duty as the student council president, like, listening to the other girls pitching this idol festival and being like, yes, sounds interesting.
Sounds interesting, I approve! But then the other student council members are like, hey, you need a lot more detail in your pitch. Like, for example, where it's going to be. And so they're like...
and what you're doing.
And what you're doing. Come back later with, like, a more more in-depth pitch, and maybe we'll consider this. And Setsuna's like, God damn it.
But basically... they're like, okay, we'll come up with better ideas. So they go all around Odaiba and they're like, these are places we could have our venue. And they even like scout out some of the school idols they talked to, being like, would you be interested if this happens?
Yeah. There's like kind of a gag about them like taking suggestions for a venue, but the suggestion box is empty because Kasumi made it all about herself. And also it's summer vacation, so there's not a lot of people at the school.
Yes. So to promote the suggestion box, there is a point where like Rina goes out and like talks to the classmates that she wasn't able to be friends with before, and they're all like super enthusiastic. So Rina made her friends, which is cute.
Cute. She got her little buddies.
Also, her buddies who are in her year, they're all in the baking club, and they all look like slightly off-brand K-On! Characters.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
I'm like, these are all off-brand K-On!
God, I want to watch K-On! Again. Sarah, we need to do the K-On! Episode.
Don't forget, once we do the K-On! Episode, Idol Days is over.
Oh, that's
it's the
true.
forbidden episode.
Yeah, I like K-On! Oh, it's such a cute show. I miss K-On! One of these days we'll do a K-On! Cosplay together for real.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, so during this episode, they're all just kind of like running around doing stuff, and Ayumu keeps seeing Yu talk to Setsuna, which makes sense because they're working together because they're working on the pitch for this festival together. And but Ayumu's just like, that harlot's taking my girl from me. I'm gonna stare at her from a distance.
Later, they are almost done with their like proposal for this idol festival, the school idol festival, if you will. And they go to the student council and they're like, we're ready to do our pitch. Only thing is, like, the student council's looking through and they're like, we see you don't have a venue. And then Yu, like, takes out the suggestion box and is, like, full of suggestions. And she's like, well, what I was thinking would be better than having one venue is if we had all the venues.
Yeah, which, like, is cute, but also Odaiba's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a lot of walking to do, and I would say it was expensive, but I think the school owns the island, so maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know how this works. It's just, don't think about it, it's anime.
Don't think about it's anime.
Don't worry
There's
about
a little
it.
gag where, like, I assume, like, the student council vice president is like, yeah, I'm excited about this. I stayed up all night watching Setsuna videos.
And then Setsuna's, like, right there in her little disguise, and she's, like
trying not to talk.
And she's like, yeah, sure, great. It was a cute little gag. But, Sarah, we have to get into
then there's the drama.
So later, Ayumu goes over to Yu's house and sees, like, she's got a little keyboard in there. And Ayumu's like, I didn't know that you were learning the piano. It's like, I don't even know you anymore. And Yu's like, yeah, there's something that I've wanted to tell you about my future. And he was like, did you already tell Setsuna? Because I saw you with Setsuna the other day.
You love her more than me.
You love her more than me? I won't hesitate, bitch. Vine references in the year of our Lord 2022 on our podcast.
Look, we do Vine references all the heckin' time in this show.
More likely than you think. Rip Vine. Anyway.
And so, like, Ayumu, like, tackle grabs you and is like, you said you would be with me forever. I'm not letting you go, ever.
He's like, I became an idol just for you, so please don't leave me. Please just be mine. And I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
Come on.
It reminded me a lot of Mahiru from Review Starlight, just like her vibe and how she talked about it. And I'm like, yes, that.
Yeah, I'm just like, this doesn't seem like, it's not Yu's fault that Ayumu has, like, just become, I don't know, is codependent the right word for this?
I don't think quite right, but
yeah, it's not quite
clingy.
Clingy, yeah. It's like, why are you you have other friends. This reminds me of Chika and Yo's problem from the last season from Sunshine, but just, like, pumped way the fuck up.
Or, like, how Honoka made Kotori not leave.
Well, no, so, like, I'm gonna have a rant about that in the next episode. We can skip ahead a little bit. So, episode 12 pretty much picks up exactly where we left off, but Ayumu just gets embarrassed and leaves very abruptly. And then the next morning she's like, hey, can you just forget that happened?
Then at the same time, she's, like, holding on to you all the time and not letting her be, like, in separate rooms than her.
Yeah, it's a thing. So the girls are, like, continuing festival prep, but Yu and Ayumu are both kind of, like, really out of it. Yu's really embarrassed, and she's not feeling super confident about herself as an idol. And Yu just keeps trying to talk to her. He's like, I have a dream and I want you to be the first person to know about it. And Ayumu doesn't let her say what it is. She's just like, no, I'm not going to listen to what your dream is, because whatever dream you have is clearly going to make them not be able to be together anymore. And I'm like, I just wrote in my notes, I'll read this verbatim. Girl, stop with the assumptions. You're making me crazy. At this point, Ayumu just keeps going and screaming at you to just say what, I'm screaming at you to just say what her damn dream is, to shut Ayumu up, because shit, girl, support your friends, you're worse than Honoka.
Yeah, like, let them do what they want to do if you're really your friend. This is, like, really controlling.
No, yeah, controlling is a very good word for it. It's just like, why is just... I'm screaming at you. It's just like, just tell her what your goddamn dream is. It's like, just get it out there, because she obviously, like, she's not going to let you talk, and she's not being a very good friend right now. She's being a terrible friend. Because she's like, you're not allowed to have dreams if your dreams are going to keep us apart. It's like, my God, you're worse than Honoka was. Jesus. Ayumu. I just want to bap her upside the head with a rolled up newspaper and be like, Jesus Christ, treat your friends better.
But Yu's basically like, no, that's not what I'm talking to you about. I was not going to talk to you about leaving you.
And then Ayumu's just like, no, you are! That is what this is about! You're gonna leave me and do something, I don't know! Because I don't let you speak and I don't let you actually say what your dream is! I'm just gonna keep interrupting you! And Yu's just like, I'm just gonna tell you another time.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously having a moment.
And then we have a scene with Setsuna and Ayumu, and they start talking to each other. Mostly, like, it starts just casual, like, hey, have you thought about a venue for your performance yet? No, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then Setsuna's like, well, I know that you've been acting a little weird. You okay?
Yeah, basically. And she's just like, well, I mean, I wasn't very confident as an idol either, but what helped me get my confidence back was, like, knowing that there's people watching me and rooting for me, and you have to see it through to the end. And so you started being an idol. You, Ayumu, you started being an idol, and now you have other people rooting for you, so you have to be there for them as well, and you have to see this through. And Ayumu's like, you know what, other woman? You're right. And so she goes off and finds you.
And meanwhile, Yu is hanging out with some other people setting up, and what were they were setting up? Ayumu's stage for the big festival.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like a little square with like a bunch of like trees and plants that are like all wrapped up in flowers. It's very cute. Mm-hmm. And Yu's like, yeah, and we even did some flower symbolism. And she gives her like a little flower, and she's like, the meaning behind this one is unchanging feelings. And Ayumi's like, oh, you do still love me, and you're not cheating on me with the other woman. And then she hugs.
Yeah, they hug, they go home together. She's like, hey, I'm sorry for being so selfish and all of this.
And then Yu's like, it's okay, you're cute when you're selfish. And I'm like, no, she isn't.
No, she's actually not great, actually.
No.
But Ayumu's like, hey, moving forward in our lives, like, I'm worried that we're gonna grow apart, because, like, there's gonna be other fans besides just you. But Yu's like, oh, I don't worry about that, because I'm the one I liked you before it was cool.
I liked you first. And then Yu finally says that she is going to be trying out for the music course at their school because she wants to be a musician.
Yes, because she is Haruka Udapri.
Yup, she's Haruka Udapri, but with, like, more personality.
Just and more slightly. Pupils.
And more pupils. In her eyes. But yeah, and so she's like, thank you, Ayumu, for helping me find this opportunity. And Ayumu gets so... No. Mm-hmm. And then Ayumu runs to the same stairs that she was on the first episode, and she does another song.
Yes, and this one is basically a love song.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
And then post-credits, end of episode, we see Yu and Ayumu, and Yu is playing on her little keyboard, and she's like, I just came up with this little ditty. Don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but I composed it myself.
Mm-hmm. It's cute. And, like, the resolution is cute because, like, they do agree. It's like, let's continue supporting each other in our different dreams. Let's go. The resolution is cute, but how we got here was just fucking...
No. Like, if Yu's dream was to go to America to study fashion design, Ayumu would have taken her to back, like, with, like, a ball and chain and being like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, because, like, that... Okay, so yeah, like, original Love Live, I could understand being sad that your friend is moving to another country on the other side of the world. That's worth being upset about. This was not worth being upset about. At all. And
at least like, not enough that you wouldn't talk to her.
I know, it's just, this is like classic misunderstanding as a source of drama and tension in a plot.
Though, to be fair, this kind of plot is honestly the most high school type of shit to have.
No, it is, but I hate it because I've been done with high school for like 10 years.
Because we're old.
And I'm just like, I cannot stand like the whole, we won't talk to each other and it's only going to make things worse. And if we actually sat down and spoke to each other for like 30 goddamn seconds, there would be no drama. But because we can't think of another way to manufacture drama in this anime, we're just gonna make these characters act super duper clingy, unreasonable, and just ridiculous. I just like, I kind of hate Ayumu after this.
Yeah, kind of the
like,
same, where I'm like, kind of was like, you're cute, and now I'm like,
you're not a very good person.
Really a bad friend.
Yeah, you're not a very good friend. You kind of suck, and you don't really have enough redeeming qualities for me to kind of push that to the side.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have the whole second season. I don't know what's going to happen in the second season. We haven't watched it yet, but...
I've watched some of it.
Have you?
I have things to say.
Okay, well, don't say them until... Hold on to it in your heart until next time, because I haven't seen it yet.
That's fine, it's fine. So, episode 13, we're in our last episode of season 1. It is the School Idol Festival.
It's the festival, the titular School Idol Festival. Just the victory lap is like, yeah, we did it. This is our festival. You know what? I'm putting this here because I had this thought and I didn't actually put it in my notes. But do you know what the layout of this anime reminds me of a lot of, actually?
Listening.
Sidem.
Oh, that's very fair. I would
yeah,
agree
because
with that.
each of the episodes focuses on, like, inside him it's like a unit or an individual character. This one it's like all individual characters, but also there's more of them inside him, so that makes sense. And then it all leads up to like a big concert at the end, and then the last episode is kind of the victory lap. And like, if you just look at the outline, they're very, very similar. So this is the side M, but without the boys, because boys do not exist.
Because that's where the split is! That's happening at the same time!
Idolmaster Side M and Love Live Nijigasaki are parallel universes of each other. Because all the boys went to the Idolmaster universe and all the girls went to the Love Live universe. That's where the split happens. We've done it, we've solved it.
We solved it.
Now the big question is, where do the crabs come in?
We have to do more research on the crabs.
We have to do more digging. Go to the beach and do more digging to find some crabs. Anyway, so yeah, final episode.
There's like a lot of still montages, like not even animated, just like still frames.
Yeah. Which, like, they're doing the same songs that they did in their little individual episodes, so, like, I can't blame them. It's like, we've already seen the song and dance number, we don't need to see it again.
We get some, like, short wrap-ups of all the girls' like, character arc. Yeah,
we see the giant Gundam. And actually, just real quick, just fun little fact, the stage next to the giant Gundam is actually a stage that gets used for idol festivals, and I know this because when my brother came to visit me right after my jet contract ended, and we just spent like 2 weeks just dicking around in random cities in Japan, we ended up on Odaiba and hanging out in Odaiba the day of Tokyo Idol Fest.
Hey!
And so we were there, and like we just went to take pictures of the giant Gundam, and then we stumbled across like this Idol Fest, and I was like, oh my god!
Hey!
And so we got to watch it for a little bit, and my brother's real noise sensitive, so he didn't want to watch most of it, but I was just like, I was watching it. It was really cool.
Heck yeah! But then...
And so, yeah, I've actually seen an idol performance on one of the little stages that they used as a venue in this, and I'm like, so cute. Special treasured memory.
So, everything's going well, but then the worst thing that can happen happens.
It starts raining!
Oh no!
Oh no! But then the rain stops and they're able to finish the concert.
Yes, and basically Yu's like kind of down because she's like, everyone went home, but they're like, everyone didn't go home.
Everyone's still there, and it's like they tried to do End of Cinderella Girl Season 1 without actually committing to like the drama of it.
So they're like, hey, we have to go to the stage because the school let us do one more performance before we have to take everything down, and you need to be in the audience to watch it.
Yep. And so then they all go to the like big stage at the center, and they all perform their little song together, like their one song that they do all together. And it's actually, I really do like this song, actually.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like it's fun too because, like, you know, you get different styles in the same song. Like, Rina still sounds very electronic a little bit, but like, she works with everyone.
Yeah, and so like the song is kind of like the BPM is a little bit on the slow side for like a poppy end of season idol song. It feels a bit like a nostalgic victory song with all the girls singing together.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, that's just like the vibe I kind of got from it. And it's sweet. It's a lot of it's like animated, but then kind of towards the end they just kind of cut to just like you see collab performances with like the other groups, like from the other schools, and it just kind of cuts to like still animation. It's like, yeah, I didn't need to see this animated. Yep. This is fine.
End of episode. They're popular.
Gonna be popular.
And they're like, we gotta do this again. Which is like, we are gonna make a season 2.
Yeah. But like, they didn't do a season 2. It took them like a while.
It took them a while to do season 2. It's true.
Yeah, like, Nijigasaki, like, the anime came out several years ago, and they just wrapped up season 2.
Though, to be fair, I don't know how much of that was because pandemic schedules.
That's true.
I know a lot of anime got delayed.
That is very true, actually. But yeah, so they get a lot of emails from other schools saying, hey, if you guys ever do another one, we're totally in, which is leading into introducing new characters in the next one, probably.
Yep.
And then the very last scene is we see you in the music room sitting down to take her test to see if she can transfer into the music course at their high school. And then we pan out and we see the sky, and the anime is over for now.
Yay! And there's a rainbow because they're Nijigasaki.
Yep. Nijigasaki.
Yes.
Niji means rainbow in Japanese.
And they're in the Odaiba, which you have to take the rainbow bridge to get to Odaiba.
It's very,
It's very it has its brand and it's sticking to it.
It sticks to the brand. Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. I like the branding, but yeah, it's like laying on a little bit of fake, but like it's cute.
So, season 1 of Nijigasaki, we did it. We did it. We have learned more about the universe of the idols and about the split that had happened and about how you get raptured. So I think we got a whole lot out of Nijigasaki season 1.
Yep, and who knows what season 2 will bring us for our Pepe Sylvia conspiracy board.
You'll find out next time on Idol Days.
Next time on Idol Days, season 2!
Star and I will hold out on our best girls and stuff till at the end of season 2. I think that's probably best because we're going to find out more about them, probably.
Yeah, we're going to find out more, and I know for a fact that there are more girls who do get introduced because I've watched some of the dance numbers from them because I was curious on YouTube.
So we'll wait till we have our full cast and our full impression.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, not my favorite Love Live, but it wasn't bad. It's just a show.
Yeah, and it really, like, I guess, again, for me, like, there's episodes I really liked, and I enjoyed watching. Like, I enjoyed watching the Kanata episode. And, like, once I got Shizuku's vibe, I like her episode. But, like, the Emma episode, I, was bored. I was pretty bored, to be honest.
Yeah, the Kasumi episode is just like, oh, great, I have to watch you
It's a mixed bag. It's really a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
It's a bag of Skittles with a couple of M&Ms in there, and it's just like, M&Ms aren't bad, but when you're expecting a Skittle, it's
also hard, too, when the big, like, multi-episode arc, it's just because a character refuses to listen to another character, it's a little bit like, well, just, like, come on, fast forward, please.
Baps you with a rolled-up newspaper.
Bap. So, Star, if people want to find us on the internet, where can they find us?
You can find us at idoldays.card.co. We have a website. We've got like a list of episodes. We've got some little secret stuff hidden in there. It's real fun. You gotta go look for it. And also on our website is a link to our Discord server, which you can totally join. It's pretty cool vibes. We're working on some new stuff to make just the vibes a little more fun and interesting. So you should join our Discord. Links on our website. Wink, 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 wink. And also, depending on where you listen to this podcast, there should ideally be a hyperlink in the episode description.
Hey.
And Sarah, if people want to follow us on social media, where can they go?
We are on Twitter and Instagram at IdolDaysPod. That's at IDOLDAYSPOD. Send us your theories on which anime happened pre or post Divergence.
Also, and then one more thing is, in case you guys didn't know, I've actually been making a YouTube version of the podcast. I've mentioned it in past episodes, but basically it's just the static cover art of the episode with the audio underlaying. But like, hey, if you want to watch podcasts on YouTube, you can watch ours on YouTube. And also, I'm gonna shill for myself for like a second here, because I have recently started doing more YouTube stuff, and so you should subscribe to YouTube for iDOL Days video version and future stuff that I'm gonna be doing over there. I have too many hobbies, but you know, whatever. I want to be a YouTuber, so hey.
So, this has been iDOL Days.
We've been Lady.
See you next live.
Bye. God, we can edit this out if you want, but I just realized that, like, before Genshin Impact, so much of the bot costumes you would see at conventions were Love Live, and then as soon as Genshin Impact sprouted up, it feels like you're seeing all of those characters instead of the Love Live characters, and I'm just like, the Love Live to Genshin pipeline.
Oh no.
But I was just thinking about, like, costumes. Bot costumes. Love Live characters have a lot of bot costumes. You know what also has a lot of bot costumes? Genshin. Hey, I've been seeing a lot less Love Live cosplays ever since Genshin came out. iDOL Illuminati confirmed.
iDOL Illuminati confirmed.